What's up, YouTube? I'm Robert, and this is the B1KER Bar Podcast live stream. Oh my God. It feels like it's been a long time since I've been on, and it's been a week. So I don't know what happened in the last week, but I think maybe I stepped into like a time vortex or something like that. Who knows? I apparently do not, because I don't know. I don't know. Weird week for me, I suppose. Hey, everybody knows. And if you don't know, this show is brought to you by everybody on Patreon. So if you're not a member of Patreon and you would like to help support the channel and keep these podcasts going, swing by Patreon. That'd be pretty slick. And you can pick up a sticker pack if you're in the $5 club. If you're in the Buck Club, you can just use the coupons that I have on there. Either way, I usually post my videos up there early. Early could be like an hour early or a day or two early. Who knows? It's usually early though. Outside of that, it really just helps support the channel. So like I've said before, man, you buy a beer at the bar and you give that dude $1. If you feel like that was worth it, he just poured a drink for you. Here I'm entertaining you. So throw $1 at me like a stripper. Except for one of these days, I'll do the truffle shuffle for you if I get enough people on Patreon. So check this out. I have the podcast too. Leave a review for that. If you listen, I like looking at the reviews. If you want a little bit more content, but you don't want to pay for it, go to Instagram at BikerB1 or Facebook, same thing. If you guys super chat, I'm super stoked because it's always fun to see those pop up, and I don't always get to like acknowledge them, but hey, it is definitely appreciated. So I do have one thing that's a little out of the ordinary here in the beginning spiel that I want to show you guys. Those of you guys that are listening and not watching, just trust me, it's really freaking cool. So I got this B1KER B1 beer koozie, and it's a slap koozie as well. So bam, just slap that thing right on my wrist. And you can put this on your down tube. So that this is actually the real reason that I made these originally was because the down tube of my bike was getting scratched whenever I would go shuttle. And one of my buddies' racks or tailgate covers came with these. They didn't say biker on them though. I was like, I'm just going to buy some blanks for mine. And then next thing you know, I'm making these. So you can either keep your beer cold or your bike safe or do both. So if you swing by shop.biker.com, you can pick one of these up for $5. But maybe for like the next week, I have another link on there that if you buy 3 of them, it's only $10. So $10 for 3 cold beers or 3 safe bikes. And outside of that, it supports the channel. So I'm going to partake in using a B1KER koozie throughout this episode with my hidden IPA in there. For those of you guys that always want to know what it is, it's a Track 7 Panic. It's a local one here, a really freaking good IPA. And let's go ahead and get started. So all right, let's do this. Today we have James, which is from the JC Trails channel. If you guys aren't familiar with him, we're going to find out all about it.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Not bad, man. How you doing?
Good. It's been a
you know what?
year, but hanging in there.
I asked you this a long time ago, and I think it just dawned on me tonight. I was like, man, why does he go by JC? And then I was like looking for like what your Instagram page was, and it said James Chu, and I was like, oh.
Actually, I got the name from one of the OG guys, BKXC. I'm like, oh, he uses his initials, but I don't ride XC.
Right.
So I was like, all right, my initials and then Trails, and it kind of I think it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, no.
JC Trails, and then every time I ride with you guys, you always call me JC, so I think it sounds cool too. So
yeah, you just ended up with a new nickname, huh?
Yeah. I used to be JC when I was a little kid. It was Jimmy and JC.
Yeah. Somebody in the comments, of course, says Jesus Christ, but we've all thought that. How come on now? He's like the Jesus of mountain bikes with no hair or followers. Well, I guess you have some followers. What you got over there on your channel now? Like 15,000?
13, 14 almost.
Sick, dude.
It's good there.
Yeah, no, man, it's crazy. I mean, I remember when we were all at like 1,000.
Yeah,
or 2,000.
We're like battling to get that 1,000, and we got it just in time before YouTube changed the whole way you can monetize your channel and everything. So we're lucky there.
Yeah, definitely got it. Squeaked right in there, man. So what's new, man? So those of you guys that don't watch, now you got me confused whether I should call you James or JC. I'm just
Call me whatever you want.
right. So why don't you give me a little like lowdown on what your channel is for those people that don't know what it is?
Yeah, sure. So started the channel, had no rhyme or reason, just wanted to stick a GoPro in my head, mountain bike, and show you guys what I do. And then it kind of evolved, I think, for most people know me by is like for bike reviews.
Mm-hmm.
So like my local bike shop did a lot of demo bikes and I started doing like stump jumpers and this and that. And then those get a lot of traction. So a lot of people knew me by that.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Then, like a lot of people found me first. And I think that's how you found me is because I mountain biked with my wife.
Yeah.
And then we used to fight a lot. And then, and I didn't edit anything out. I left it how it really was, like a marriage couple, like a married couple. Like
right.
You go do something, activity you enjoy. You don't get along sometimes, and you fight about it and you make fun of each other. So I think some people enjoyed it, like you, and a lot of people hated it.
Really? Some people hated it?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, your wife's freaking hilarious.
Like, you're so mean to her. I'm like, no, that's just our relationship.
Yeah. I didn't realize you were getting. Yeah, I didn't realize you were getting the hate because, like, to me, I totally got it. I was like, you guys are just like ruffling each other's feathers, but it's like not like you were seriously doing it. So that's funny.
Then a lot of the stuff was just like we bust each other's chops,
right?
And that's how our relationship is, and a lot of people didn't get it, so it was fine. But I think I got a lot of followers or subscribers that way, and then, the bike reviews are probably the bigger thing. And then after that, it just kind of, I could do whatever, like a trail review or and then people would find that and find me that way. But mostly I think it's because of the bike reviews. That's what my channel is kind of about. I try to review just bikes and how they feel. And now people send me free bikes. So to test, not to keep, but to they send me bikes that are not even out yet. So I have another bike review coming out 4 days. I think people are gonna be pretty stoked about it. Not even released yet.
Really?
Yeah.
You think I'm going to be stoked about it?
Everyone. It's
not I was going to say, because the only bikes that I ride are like what that yellow one is in the background there, right?
Yeah. It's Santa Cruz, but it's something, I guess, even bigger.
Oh, shit.
So stay tuned for that.
Dude, we all know you're a Specialized fanboy, dude. You don't need to lie to nobody.
The only reason I ride Santa Cruz and Specialized is because my local bike shop sells them.
Oh, yeah.
Cheaper. You know what I mean? If you have a good reputation with your local bike shop, they give you a little cut.
Yeah, they will.
So
usually.
it's hard to go to another brand, and the bikes are so good these days. It's hard to buy a bad bike.
Well, that's the thing with me and Santa Cruz. It's like, why do I need to ride some other bikes? These ones seem to be working out just fine for me.
You save yourself a lot of hassle. That's why I go through bikes so fast. A lot of people are like, you have another bike, because every month sometimes I have a new bike.
Yeah, I don't even understand it, dude. Like, you don't even have the bikes long enough to make them to really, at least in my opinion, to really dial into the bike.
I kind of get the gist of it now. So the Mega Tower I have right here, I'll hand the camera over. So I got the new Fox fork.
This is your second Mega Tower too.
This is my second one, correct? So the first one I really didn't give much of a chance. I don't know why I even got rid of it.
Probably because it was like when I used to be single and I was dating girls, I would always break up with them after 30 days because I felt like that was enough time that I could get away clean, and I feel like that's how you are with your bikes, dude.
I think you might be right. I don't want to get attached to one bike. I want to keep my options open. I'm stuck with one wife already, so I got to have my bikes. I got to have my bikes open. So, so I feel like I'm dialing in this Mega Tower. It's the first time I've run the Santa Cruz reserve wheels.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally stoked on those. They're great wheels. The ride
I
quality
haven't
really
ridden
good.
yet.
Yeah, they're really, really good.
Which size are you riding?
29er.
In the inner.
These are on the Mega Tower 30
30s
inner width, and then I got 27s in the bike shop. I haven't even gotten them out of the box yet. And
I'm telling
those
you,
are going my trail bike.
You should try the wide ones, dude.
Like the 37s.
Yeah, you should do that. Honestly, dude.
Those on my hardtail. I had those I had Revolves, the Specialized brand.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the 3.0 tires on them.
Mm-hmm.
2.8s. I think there were 2.8 tires on it. And it was actually really good because it had that little cush to it.
Yeah.
But I still wash those tires out. If I go into a corner, I could roll the tire. So I think I had to put a cush core next to my
tire. I have a set of Knights that are, I think they're 45 on the inner. So they're like super wide, right?
Yeah.
And I have 2.8s on them with Cushcore. They're normally on my Chameleon. And right now I'm waiting on this wheel build for my Bronson. So I've been riding those tires on my Chameleon or on my Bronson. And I would have never put those wheels on my Bronson, like other than this circumstance, or if like for other reason I was like having the wheel rebuilt or something. And I'm kind of like loving it. I really didn't think that I would enjoy these that much, dude. Like I had, like with my old Bronson, right before I sold it, I had 2 6s on that front and back for a while, and I didn't like it. I just felt like they just weren't right, you know?
Right.
And I ended up riding with the 2 6 up front and then a 2 4 on the back, and I was really kind of digging that. But these 2 8s, dude, like oh my God, I can run a lower profile tire, like the Recon.
The Recons, yeah.
And it's still like it rips, man. And I even with, you know how dry it gets out here in NorCal.
Yeah,
like,
Dust Bowl, yep.
Yeah, and like it is still like hooking up even when I was 300 pounds. And I mean, it's not like I'm freaking light now. I'm still 260. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, dude, and I would have thought, you know, oh man, they're gonna roll so much slower or whatever. And I'm like PRing all my climbs. I mean, some of that, yeah, it's probably I'm in much better shape right now. But
yeah,
the other end of it is like it's not slowing me down, obviously.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because actually the 2 8s, there was like I forget which one of the mountain bike channels did it. Like, you know, the ones in Europe, the bigger ones, like Bike Radar or one of those
or GMBN or something like
that.
that.
Yeah, and they did which tire rolls faster. They took like a 2.8 or a 3.0 like specialized purgatory tire. And they did it like in the 2.5 or 2.6 size, and then they did it in the 2.3. And you'd figure that 2.3 would roll faster because it's like smaller. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's thinner, less friction on the ground, but actually the plus tire beat them all of them.
Yeah, that's the thing that's blowing my mind, dude. And like, and part of it is me, like I'm a bigger dude, obviously, right? So the grip for me is just like this is probably what it feels like to ride a 2.3 or 2.4 as like a skinny dude, like as a JC. You know what I mean? But like the grip is just like it's phenomenal, and I don't know, you just got that little extra cushion. Like originally when I built those wheels like that, it was like predominantly built around like the hardtail. I wanted extra like suspension, you know, and then I put the Cushcore in them so that, like you said, you know, you don't roll them as much in the corners and like it stiffens up that sidewall, which it really does well. And yeah, I'm blown away. Like when the new wheels come in, my new ones I could put from like a 2.4 to a 2.8 on them, and I'm already like, maybe I should just put 2.8s on them.
Yeah, do it.
You know.
I mean, that's a cheap upgrade. You know, you always could change the tires. It doesn't cost that much. It's cost, you know, maybe $120 and you got different subs. But
yeah,
I like the 2.8s because I have the 2.8s on my hardtail and it feels fast. I don't know why, because it's almost the size of the 29er tire. So you have the roll of the 29er.
Yeah.
And then you have so much confidence when it gets sandy. And we have like here in Mass, there's a lot of like almost beach sand in the trails when it gets to pain. So like when you're going in the corner and you push, it just kind of hooks up. Even though, you know, the big
we have that in Tahoe, that same thing, because the granite just breaks down to sand. So you'll be like cooking down some trail, and all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I'm at the beach, you know. So maybe that's part of the reason that I'm liking it. I don't. I mean, it just really, really surprised me. Like honestly, C-Lock got the same Bronson as me just recently. He
the new one, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know, before that, he was running like 2.3. Like he went big on tires, like I was whenever we first met, you know, and we're hanging out. And then he ramped back down to like 2.35s. Yeah. And maybe like a 2.4 or something. I remember telling him like, dude, these bigger tires, you're gonna be surprised. And he's like, yeah, whatever, shut up. You know, just kept buying the same thing. And then he got that bike and it had 2 6s on it. And he's like, yeah, I'm not putting anything smaller than 2 6 on this bike ever.
You know, you just got to run what works for your area. Like a lot of people rag on the plus tires because they ride like hard packed clay trails like Bike Park, you know what I mean? Like packed berms. And it really is like I've ridden the Bronson there with the 2.6 tires at a Bike Park, and you just go in those turns, it's like the tire just goes right off the rim.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Even probably with Cushcore, I could probably rip it off the, you know, like almost. And then you have to put so much air pressure in it, it defeats the purpose of having like a bigger tire.
I see what you're saying.
So like it gets to a point when you ride such hard berms and stuff like that, you might not.
Maybe it's different in different areas.
Yeah, but I think it works like when it's like where you ride like Auburn and stuff. It's all like blown out and dry and dusty.
It just fucking blows.
It works probably perfect there. So
right.
Complaining about it too. He had like the 5010, and he's like, F these freaking 2.6 tires or whatever. It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
They're not accurate. I can't squeeze through rocks.
But I think part of it too is the rims that he had at the time, the internal wasn't as wide. So now he's on like a 35. And that's the same thing like for me. I mean, the ones I'm riding right now, like I said, those things are like stupid big.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of it too, is that if you're in, I'm like drawing a blank on that freaking word right now. Somebody in the comments, or maybe you can like it's not inner diameter. It's like the
inner width.
Inner width.
Yeah.
Is it that simple?
Rim inner width.
That's awesome. Great. So I want to say diameter so bad though, man. You don't even understand.
I do too. But like one of my friends always corrects me too. Like I'm like if I do like a bike review about whatever, and I'm like, oh, the bike has 30 millimeter inner diameter. I'm like, and he's like, no, it's width. So I never forgot.
Yeah.
Width.
Sweet. Yeah. So I think that like if it's too small, like
right.
Especially if you're under 30, I think then it balloons the tires a lot, you know?
Right.
And so when you get these wider ones with the wider tires, then it flattens it out some, and then it makes that corner like really like prominent when you're rolling into the corner of the tire.
Yeah.
You know,
because it makes it feel like a normal tire pretty much.
Yeah.
Wide rims. It does.
Yeah.
It doesn't have as much wash. But they are heavy. They do weigh a lot.
Yeah. I mean, but so do I. So like there's a lot of ways that I could probably lose the weight of whatever that tire is. Like one of them would be like, take a PRD before the ride. And it's like, oh wow, I could ride these now. You know, right?
Speaking of weight, Robert, I've been watching, your series on your other channel, like your normal, the bike.
Yeah.
And you've been doing great, man.
Dude.
Like the last video, you got down on yourself, and I was like, why? Man,
I must really be like an asshole to myself, because like I'm like a battered wife to myself right now. I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see the problem. Like I seem like I'm really nice to myself, but every video I post, everybody's always like, man, you really don't need to be so hard on yourself. And I'm like, I don't, what was it that makes you feel that way?
I mean, when you talk about the weight, number one, I said like the last video, you filmed yourself like lifting weights. You're doing like lunges, you had dumbbells. So you have to think of like your weight's changing too. You're changing your body composition from, some beer drinking stuff to like muscle. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and muscle weighs more than fat. So it's like, you can actually probably stay if you wanted to because you have a big frame. Yeah. You're never going to be like a 170-pound guy. You just, you're not built that way. You have big hands. You're just a big dude. Yeah. Huge. But you could probably still weigh 260 and you'd look skinny if you lifted like heavy. You're into that scene. I mean, you know what I mean? But so like a scale's not everything, Yeah,
I know. And I really know that. I think that's one of the things that I'm going to touch on the next vlog is like, because I've been taking measurements and stuff like that. Like and a lot of the stuff that people say in the comments is like, yeah, dude, I know that. I just haven't like as a creator, like you can't say everything that you want in 15 minutes.
The video would be like 30 minutes long.
Right. And people, and it doesn't matter what you say too, like you're only going to appeal to like 30% of the people. The other like 9, the other like haters. Rest of them are just all going to tell you that you're wrong, so you got to kind of do what you're doing. But I do want to, I think that's what I'm going to rip around on this next one, which is probably going to be the last one of the series for a while, because like at this point, it's not really going to be very exciting because I'm not going to be losing like big numbers. Right. Like at this point, like my body's at a point where it's like, all right, you're not a fat ass anymore. And you're in super good shape. So unless you're going to like not work anymore and just like work out all day long, you're not going to make like crazy gains like you were before. You know what I mean? So I'm either going to get repetitive as hell on the vlog or I just need to like spread them out. So it's going to be like after this next one, which is kind of wrapping it up with Josh and the competition, then it'll probably be a couple months until I put another one of those up. So But anyways, yeah, losing train of thought there, man. Shiny ball.
Squirrel.
Yeah, right. I think like I'm going to talk about like the measurements. Obviously the muscle weighs more than fat, and then I want to hammer on like how much my level of fitness has changed. And like how that's really changed my riding. Because or I mean, actually, nobody could listen to it. We could just talk about it now, and then we'll.
Sorry, I just
no, you don't have to apologize. Honestly, nobody listens to this thing
like,
anyway,
you
dude.
see the videos, like you see like the first video, when you cut back to like the first one.
Like
the last video, did you cut back
yeah,
the timeline, and you see your face like physically change.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, you're like, okay, and then you're like this, like
right, yeah, totally.
Dude, you're making gains, and you know what? Who cares what anyone else thinks? You're doing great. It's
yeah.
And you're riding. Isn't mountain biking a little bit more fun now? Because you can, when you do those climbs in Auburn, like they suck. That one road, like right off the
Clementine,
bridge there.
You can't forget that
one. Fire road. It's so boring and pointless, but it sucks. It's just like this.
Yeah.
It's not bad now.
Yeah, it's definitely not as bad. I think, like, it's hard to say. Like on one hand, I want to say, yeah, dude, riding is much more fun. Right. But on the other hand, like, if riding sucked as bad as like we're gonna talk about, it sucks when you're fat, like I probably wouldn't keep doing it, right? You know what I mean? So like it must not have been that bad.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I would say the thing that feels best about it is like the other day, C-Lock and I went on this ride, and we were like 7 miles into the ride and already like 22, almost 2,300 feet of climbing. Right. And he was like, dude, let's go get some beer and some chicken wings. And I'm like fucking with him, like, come on, dude, you don't want to do this other climb, you bitch. like, and it's stuff like that feels good, where it's like, oh wow, man. Like we both finished that ride at almost 3,000 feet of elevation. Wow. And we're like, and we're still like, if somebody called us up and was like, hey, you want to go hit this? We both would have been like, yeah, cool, let's do it. Like we go down.
Feels good.
Yeah. And that's where you're like, dude, that's awesome. Where in the past, I would have done half of that ride. We would have went and drank beer and ate chicken wings, and then I wouldn't have done anything for like 3 days. You know what I mean?
That sounds good right now. I want some chicken wings. So
right.
I just want to eat out in like a restaurant. I haven't like been out in so long, just like normal dinner with a lady, and just have like a couple drinks and like a nice big meal and just hang out. It's just like I've literally been home for, I feel like, since March.
Oh yeah, no, dude. I totally understand where you're coming from there, because like, and I think that's probably a good thing of why like I did this like weight loss thing when I did, because it's really easy not to do any of those things when you can't. Right. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, honestly, like otherwise it's like, oh yeah, I'm hitting this diet hard, and then it's like Wednesday night and somebody's like, hey, you guys want to go out to dinner? And you're like, yeah, sure, why not? And next thing you know, you're like 5 beers in, and you're like, oh, yes, we did it again. I'll start next week. So.
Oh, you know what? The Biker Bar is missing a bike. I always ratted on you when, like, the normal live streams. I was like, put the bike behind you. I want to see a bike.
I got one right up there. See, right there, a little tiny bike up there, dude.
Okay.
So, am I good now?
You're good.
That's
is that the same color as your Bronson? That's the color you have, right? The bluish one, the teal.
No, that's the. I don't have that one anymore. The teal one.
Oh, you have which one do you have for the lower length? Do you have
I have the new one. I have the gray one. I bought last year's model. Yeah, ever since I saw that gray, I wanted it so bad.
Yeah,
I couldn't talk myself into it,
Yeah,
and then
I like the Bronson. I kind of regret selling the Bronson too. I liked it a lot.
I feel like you liked them all, dude. You're just like, oh man, I really liked that Mega Tower.
I really liked the one because it was like, it didn't feel like a big bike when you rode it around like on normal trails. But then I brought it to the bike park and just smashed it, and I was like, this thing is so fun because it's the little wheels too. Like I haven't ridden the 27.5 bike in a while.
Yeah,
and just going around the turns is like so easy.
I haven't been on one yet, but I kind of feel like they probably like built the perfect bike with the new 5010. With the way that the new suspension is on that they're doing, when with the shock down there, like real low down by the bottom bracket, like this thing, it climbs amazing. And then something else about the geometry that's like, and I'm assuming the 5010 is the same way, but like this new one, you just dip the handlebars and that thing just shoots around corners. Like
Yeah.
it, like
I think the Bronson actually corners a little bit better.
really.
Because the front triangle is smaller. The Bronson's a bigger bike, not suspension wise, but geometry wise, it's longer.
Right.
It's got the whole longer slacker. It's probably about the same slackness, but it's got the steeper seat tube angle. But the front triangle right here is actually longer than the Bronson. The Bronson's like almost old school geometry now. It's kind of crazy to say that. The bikes have gone so far. That's why I've kind of circled back to the Mega Tower here. When I first got the Mega Tower.
So wait a minute, you lost me there. So you're saying that you think the 5010 corner is better or the Bronson corner?
No, the Bronson corner is better. It's easy to turn a bike, I think personally, that has a steeper head tube angle. The slacker it gets, some people say it turns better. I think like that's why XC bikes are so snappy.
Right. Yeah. I know.
Really steep. So it's not like railing a turn. It's almost just turning the handlebars, like tight stuff.
But I feel like the geometry of the new 5010 is like the old Bronson, but now with the new location of the shock and stuff.
Right.
And I think they bumped it up to like out the door, like it's a 140 up front now. It's not 130 anymore, right?
Yeah, the 10's 130, 140.
Right. Yeah. So like I feel like that is like if you want a single quiver bike, dude, I feel like that's like the spot to be at.
Pretty good. It doesn't feel the Bronson feels faster to me.
Yeah.
It's just, I've ridden all these bikes. I've probably ridden all of Santa Cruz bikes.
Yeah.
And this one feels the fastest, the Mega Tower. Like I'm downhill. Obviously, it's 29er wheels, the big bike. You can freaking screw down stuff. But the Bronson feels like maneuverable. Like it still feels almost as fast as the Mega Tower, but I can place it where I want it. Like I can pick it up, hop over stuff.
That's why I like 27.5, dude. Yeah. It's just like I always feel like with the 29ers that they like pick the lines more than I do.
It's true.
Like that's the way I say it, I mean, you can still throw it around. They're definitely way snappier than they used to be, but I always feel like, especially if you're like in that like crazy technical, like chunk kind of stuff where you're like really trying to be precise with where you're putting your tire. I feel like the 29er is more like, screw that, dude. I'll just run over everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
it depends what bike you're riding now, but like what comes to my mind is like the new Enduro, the Specialized Enduro. That thing it's basically a baby downhill bike. You can literally just close your eyes, put your hands,
because
your eyes, take out the handlebars, and just go through rock gardens, and it just chews it all up.
It's like a 170, isn't it? It's like 170, isn't it?
170 back and front, yeah.
Yeah. 129er too, right?
And it's a 29er too.
Yeah. It's just like a freaking monster truck.
Yeah, and it's just like how they did the kinematics and all the suspension stuff. It just the back tire tracks the ground. Like the Mega Tower feels more like a trail bike to me now. Because a lot of trail bikes I've been riding have crazier geometry than this. So I had a Stump Jumper Evo right before this bike, which you can bring it down to like 63.5 degree head tube angle.
Oh wow, that's like crazy slack.
Yeah, and you ride on your local trails and you're like, whoa, this feels kind of
that would be weird. That's like way I feel like that's too slack, dude.
But when you bring it to the bike park, the thing freaking rips. Like it's so fast, but it's a 150, 140 bike. So the back end would get overwhelmed a little bit quicker. Like when you're going really fast through rock gardens. I mean, I'm not that good of a rider to even push it to make it go that fast, but a couple of times I tried, you could feel like it skips. And I ride the Mega Tower, it kind of soaks it up where the Enduro would soak that stuff up and make it, a little bit easier. So like one of my friends who has the Stump Jumper Evo, he's nasty. He's a really good rider. He has a YouTube channel too, Live Free and Shred. He's in New Hampshire. He rides the Evo and he smokes everyone. He's a good rider. And he knows how to ride a shorter travel bike. He doesn't like the big, Enduro bikes. So it's just your style. You know what I mean? Like you like 27.5 wheels, buy it.
Yeah, dude. Ride what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Michael Glidewell here says, is this the Santa Cruz channel tonight?
Michael, we're talking about Specialized Enduro and Stumpy Evo right now.
What else do you ride? Didn't you have a Fazari for a while?
Which one? I had the.
I
actually bought which one? What's it called? I can't.
Something Peak, Sol Peak.
Yeah, the LaSalle Peak. I bought that one like 2 years ago when it kind of first came out. That bike ripped.
Yeah.
And the reason why I sold that one is because it felt more like a trail bike to me. It's a big bike. It's like 150, 160.
Why are you buying these big ass bikes, dude? Because my understanding of like the channels or like the trails of where you're at, they're not like.
No, they're pretty tame. It's not like go to the bike park. Like if I drive 2 hours, then it's big bike park stuff. Like, like it's like my park bike. And then the trails, like I've been
so like when you're talking about park, like you're talking about like they lift access kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah. Like you're smoking down, you're hitting rock gardens at 1,000,000 miles an hour, big jumps.
Okay.
Like stuff that's worthy of a big bike.
Okay, I got it.
And then my local, that's why I always have like 2 or 3 bikes, because then I have like a hardtail, like just do the smooth stuff, and then I have like a normal trail bike where you can kind of do a little of everything. You know what I mean? But I had the LaSalle. I bought that bike just to see how it felt. I was curious because it was like one of the first bikes that had a really steep seat tube angle. At like 78 degree, which is still steep. I think it's a little too steep. Which puts you above the pedals. It climbed like super well, but I think it felt kind of weird when you're pedaling like normal trails, like when you're traversing.
Yeah, that was when I interviewed them. They were talking about that seat tube angle. Like they were really hot about it, and it made me want to try it. But I've never been able to throw a leg over one. So
yeah, it's a little weird. It pedals nice. It's really good on the climbs because it puts your weight on the handlebars. So you like, you get that feeling when you're going uphill. It kind of really steep sections for like those punchy ones. The front end kind of washes.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna loop out. That thing just stays, and you can motor right up.
Right on. You just
that's pretty good. And then they just came out with their new bike. That's the one they gave me, like the press bike. I had it for like basically 2 months before they released it. It's Delano Peak. That's a good trail bike. That's like a one bike if you could own. It's like 135 travel in the back and with a 150 fork.
Yeah.
So you can ride like XC trails or go to the bike park with it. And I did both, and it handled everything pretty well.
Didn't you buy some e-bikes for your family?
E-bikes?
Yeah.
No.
I thought you had an e-bike there for a minute. Like you bought one for your wife or your daughter or something like that.
No. I had the Santa Cruz for a while, just as a demo. Yeah.
The Heckler.
She loved the Heckler, and then the lady rode the Levo for a while. It was a demo too, and she was like, "I don't want any other kind of bike." She's like, "This thing is fantastic."
That's sweet. Oh man, dude, we've been talking all this time. I never even hit the stupid thing. It's like I forgot how to be on. There we go. Oh my god! Now everybody knows your name. I mean, a minute ago, they were like, "Who's this fucking jerk he's talking to?"
It's right there.
Yeah, right.
I'm backwards too. I'm like, no,
right.
Damn it.
I was just looking at the screen. I was like, it doesn't look the same as it normally does. What's going on here? Sorry. Freaking shiny balled you. So she's ready to be like full e-bike family, and you're like, we're not doing this.
No, we're not gonna do it. There's just too much money too. Like I could buy a dirt bike for that price. I mean, I guess all these other bikes I have are the same price as dirt bikes, but I don't know. I'd buy an e-bike. I don't know. If I should buy one now. So leading into the e-bike, or from the e-bike, leading into injuries. So, everyone who don't watch my channel, I'm injured now.
Yeah.
I tore my ACL like a year and a half ago, mountain biking.
So you did that on a video too, didn't you?
No, I didn't heard it on the. I was like,
There was one where I saw you take this, like you were trying to do this big jump and you just freaking ate it, something fierce and it was like, I want to see you were in like the PNW somewhere or something like that.
Oh no, I landed on my head on that one. That one was like 3 years ago. Yeah.
This was many crashes after that.
That was like Seattle, I think. Yeah, that definitely was. That was a bitch. That hurt like a mofo.
Yeah. So what happened? How did you injure yourself?
So this is like a year and a half ago. I'm riding my local trails, and I hurt myself on the climb. That's how bad it is. So a lot of our trails are like, a lot of people can't ride them because there's slow tech. So you're climbing up something like, like here's my bike, here's like a rock. You have to punch up this rock and then balance on it, like almost hop, and then turn and then go down it. But you're doing this in a climb, so you need momentum.
So it's like a Sedona kind of thing.
It's a lot of stuff like that, but they're all man-made. Like my buddies build these things. So
right.
It's crazy. It's all janky. The rocks move when you're on it. So I got to the top. I'm trying to hop, and I just lost my balance. I jumped off the bike, and there was bushes underneath it. I landed in the bushes, and then my ankle rolled, and then my knee went with it, and popped my ACL and tore my meniscus like 3 times or whatever. This is my 3rd ACL tear, though. My 3rd one.
You're like a veteran. Do you get like a discount or something?
No, the doctor is like, at least it's easier I know where to cut because there's already a scar. He just cuts along
He just gets right into it, like the perforated part on the box from macaroni and cheese. Sticks his thumb in real hard, just rips the top off, and he's like, all right, here we are.
But the thing that sucks with the injury is that.
So you've been riding for like a year and a half like that, though. Like, obviously it's not that bad, right?
So when I first injured it hurt like a bitch. it was all swollen. It was mangled.
Yeah.
I couldn't get it fixed, number one, because we had a vacation the next week.
Uh-huh.
So my wife was like, there's no way you're going to be crippled on vacation.
Right.
So I just iced the hell out of it. I put a huge brace on it, and I just went on vacation to the, what do you call it, Punta Cana.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got back from vacation, it felt pretty good.
So you're like, fuck it, I'll just keep riding.
So I just kept riding. And then I was going to fix it April of this year. So it would have been a year anyways.
Right.
But then COVID-19 happened, and then, we call it elective surgeries were just put on the back burner. So
right.
How's that? But the thing that's frustrating is because it doesn't hurt when I ride. It actually feels better because, it's a low impact when you're pedaling.
Uh-huh.
Fall.
Right.
And it kind of hurt because my progression of riding and fitness level is like, it's never been so good because I've been riding like almost every day like you.
Uh-huh.
So like we've been talking about earlier, it's just like getting to the top of the climb, I'm not even sweating. I only have to bring one water bottle with me now because like when you're in better shape, you drink less water for some reason.
I don't, dude. I mean, I sweat like a freaking crazy person, dude. Like it's nuts, dude. Like even when I ride with people, they're always like I have one of those headbands. I can't think of the name of the brand, Halo. And like, oh, dude, I take it off like every 10 minutes, and I'm like, just squeeze it, and it's like half a gallon of water falls out, and everybody's like, "What the hell are you doing, dude?" Like, you don't even understand, man. But yes, I definitely do drink less because, like, I think if it wasn't for the level of fitness that I'm in right now, like, I would still be carrying my Camelback, and for whatever reason, like, I'm like almost never riding with a pack at all, like not even a fanny pack. I'm like two bottles on my bike and I'm straight, unless it's super hot.
It's weird how you can just your body gets more efficient, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I reached that level of fitness I've never been at, like mountain bike wise.
Right.
I've been like kind of in shape, like because I lift weights and yada yada.
Right.
Like I just been pedaling so much that it was just oh, do I really have to get it fixed now? Right. And then like something just clicked to my brain that it just says you can send these things now, these big jumps and drops, and just do it. And I've been doing all these crazy things I've never done before, like those big hucks that like most people don't do it. Right. Even Brian at BKXC, I rode with him like in July. Uh-huh. And we took him to a place called Vietnam. It's called Vietnam.
That one that you were doing, it looked like a big G out, but you were like jumping into the G out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
One where it's just a straight drop. I never shot it. Yeah, it's like a G'd out big time. I got it. But on camera, it looks like this 1, 2, and you hit the ground. Right. If you were there, like it's hard to capture even on camera. But if you're standing there watching, you're like, holy crap! Looks like you're just hucking yourself off a 2-story building to flat. Yeah,
that's the thing that sucks about freaking making videos for the internet. Is like it never looks anything like it is in person, and that's why I always tell people, like, if you see something that looks like hairy online, it's like stupid bad. Like it's like ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because what's his name? Like his channel, like BCPOV. Like he'll post something, you're like, doesn't look that bad. Right. Like when it's something steep, but he puts on like 18 different cameras. Right. So it kind of looks steep, but if you saw that in real life, dude, it's good. You're like, fuck no, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna
right. This section. Right. Yeah. Cause you see the way that guy rides, he's like dialed. You know what I mean? Like that guy's like, he knows how to ride bikes for sure. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Like he can ride bikes almost as good as I can drink beer. Like almost.
I'm close, dude. I can hang with you, bro. Let's go.
Yeah, you can, dude. Yeah, I feel, man, it's been forever, dude. It's been forever since we've been able to twist a cap together. Anyways, but like I was saying, like it's just crazy, like how that stuff looks in person comparatively. You know what I mean? Like there's rock rolls where we're in Tahoe and like me and my buddies are all standing there looking at the thing for 15 minutes before one of us like nuts up enough to do it. Yeah. And none of us are like crappy riders. You know what I mean? Yeah. You take a picture of it though, dude, and it looks like you're like, what's that? You know? Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's whatever. It is what it is. I can usually tell by the stoke of the person when they get to the bottom, like, they get that, if they clear it, they're like, oh, but when you realize how bad it is when they fall, that's when it's steep. So like I was riding in North Conway. It's becoming a new mountain bike destination in New Hampshire. Mm-hmm. It's like the town's North Conway. It's usually a ski town, but they're trying to make it like a mountain bike destination. Yeah, You've heard of what's it called in Vermont? Kingdom Trails. Okay. So like it's like a place where like people travel from all over the world to go ride.
Right.
It's like the most buff terrain you've ever seen. It just flows. Like my kids could ride it. It's
Yeah.
really it's user friendly to everyone. So North Conway is like this new town like that. They're becoming like that. They're trying to take their ski, infrastructure and make it a mountain bike town.
Yeah. They're like, hey, we can make
trails that look like they have a couple of trails that look like nothing. And like I made a video on one of them. It's called Kindanar. It's from like the old war movies. But there's one section where the rock is like that. It's like steep. And the only reason you knew it was steep because I fell. Like I almost went over the bars. Like I dipped into it and went poof, and it threw me out the other side. Like I did the wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
And then landed on my face. I mean, I went over the bars, but
oh wow.
It's just like that's the only way you can tell that something's like dangerous.
And this is what you're doing with your torn meniscus.
Yeah.
So if anybody hasn't put it together yet, JC Trail's kind of a little bit crazy.
You got to send it sometimes,
Just a little bit crazy. So like, what was it, do you think, that like made you decide that you were ready to start like hucking off of stuff? Because I mean, when we rode together, like it wasn't like you were afraid of stuff. I mean, I want to say you did like a little gap that when we were in UC, like that was probably like an 8-foot gap with, like off.
Yeah.
Didn't you jump over my head?
Yeah. I jumped over your head.
Yeah. So, I mean, right. So it wasn't like you were coming from like totally like keep your wheels on the ground but like, I definitely have seen some of your like more recent stuff. And I'm like, dude, this guy stepped it up even more. Now I don't even know if I can hang out with this dude.
Yeah. It's just, I've been riding these young guys. So you'll see a video come out in like 3 or 4 days when this bike reveal. And I'm filming with these other guys. They're like high school kids. They work in the bike shop. We got the bike from
their bones are all still made out of rubber.
Yeah, they're just nasty riders.
Right.
So I'm following them and they're just towing me into these jumps and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
And these are jumps that I'm not comfortable with. They're more like BMX jumps, like those jumps, like the lips like that.
Yeah.
You gotta have proper jump technique or you're gonna land on your face, and I do all of them. It's just my mind just clicked. And I always done that stuff when I was a little kid. Like when I was like middle school, high school, I always used to do big jumps. I raced dirt bikes, I raced BMX, I did a lot of stuff. But then if you don't do it for a while, you kind of lose it.
Yeah, totally. That's where I'm at. We used to hit. That's all we did when I was in high school, like in middle school. Like we rode BMX all day and like jumped over everything. Yeah. Like if we weren't jumping something, we weren't riding our bikes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just kind of clicked, I think. Like I feel like a kid again, literally.
Yeah.
And just my riding is just got much better. And then with the fitness, so being fit is huge. You can probably relate to this, Rob. When your heart rate's not out of control, let's say, like you make it to a climb, but then all your buddies you went with, let's say you're a little fitter than you, and then they automatically just start going downhill and doing all this tech stuff and jumps. Your heart rate's like through the roof. You're breathing through your eyeballs. Yeah. And when you're doing that, your mind is like kind of shut down. You know what I mean? Like you can't concentrate on like the features and all the stuff you can do.
Right.
So me being fit, even I weigh a little bit less now. I weigh like 8 pounds less than I normally do. I can just calm down and actually take in all the jumps. Like, so when I do stuff, my heart rate's way lower than it usually is.
Yeah.
And so I can concentrate.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. I feel like I'm definitely been in the air a lot more since I've been more fit. And I think some of it too is just like having the core strength to throw your bike around and stuff like that. Yeah. Like whenever you're just smoked, your like your legs and everything, like you don't have that extra like juice to do that,
Yeah.
Like the thing I noticed more too is like I'm pedaling way more on stuff that I would have just coasted on before. Like, does that make sense? Where like I would be cooking before. I mean, you rode with me. It's not like I was a slow rider.
No.
You know what I mean? But I would have been letting gravity like dictate my speed more. And you know what I mean? And now,
you weren't pedaling on the slide down. And now you're putting like,
now I'm like, oh man, this is not fast enough. Like I need to get quicker on that, or I need to get through that, and so that carries your speed more on maybe some of the rolly stuff where before it would be like you'd lose your speed halfway up it and you'd have to like downshift down, or whatever to like really get up it. And where it's like now you're like kind of skirting over the top of it. And because of that, then you're not using as much energy. So you could ride through this trail and at the end, you're actually working out less than you used to. You know what I mean?
True. That's why you look at the times of like, if you follow like, look in Strava and like certain segments, especially in like Auburn, there's a couple of trails that do like that up and down thing, like the roller coaster, like you're talking about. And you look at the times, you're like, this dude is 10 minutes faster than me. How's that even possible?
Right.
And then you're like what you're talking about, you link in those sections, like you're not coasting, you're pedaling on the downhill and pedaling up, and you're staying in the same gear and the same cadence, and then you burn off like 6 minutes off your time, like boom, PR instantly. So it's like, it just gets easier. Everything gets a little bit easier, I think, when you're in shape.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
tech, jumps, everything.
Right. And I mean, it's like that's obvious, right? You know what I mean? But it's like still like when, you know what I mean? Like when you say a sentence like that, you're like, yeah, everything gets easier when you're in shape. Well, no shit. But like for some reason, but for some reason, like you don't really grasp it until you kind of like actually change your fitness level.
So you actually do it.
Yeah. Like, and I've been super fit before. Like I mean, the reason my goal is set at 220 is because I've been a 220 rider before. You know what I mean? And it was kind of like what you were saying earlier. Like me at 220 is like I'm still like a really big dude, but to me, I'm like super skinny. You know what I mean?
I can't imagine you at 220.
Yeah.
Because you have like big legs too. You're not like it's not because you have fat legs. You have like muscle legs.
Yeah, I mean, the only place
your chicken wings are probably weighing like 50 pounds each. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, when I put on weight, dude, it's like all in the movies in the belly and like a little in the face. You know, like other than that, like when I did measurements when I started, I didn't even bother measuring my arms or my legs or anything because I knew it's going to change by like a quarter inch.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're going to get more ripped on your legs or whatever.
Yeah. It's not going to be anything where, exactly. Like even my waist, like from 220 to 300, I went from a 36 to a 38 waist jeans. Like I just get fat in the belly in the movies, dude. I got freaking tits for days, dude. If I was a stripper, man, I'd be freaking making money right now.
I know. I watched the last video. I'm like, dang, that shirt looks big on you. Did you purposely wear like a bigger shirt, or is this like your normal t-shirt?
I don't know what I was wearing, but
you're wearing like a white like biker t-shirt or something, and you're doing your intro, and you're like the t-shirt literally looks like when my kids go to like they wear pajamas.
Yeah.
Big shirts.
Down.
Like that's what it looks like you're wearing. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, get a shirt that fits, bro.
Right. I think that shirt it's a shitty cut, dude. To tell you the truth. When I made that shirt for Teespring, and I am definitely smaller than I was when I first got it, but I wanted the one that like had all the sizes to get from like extra small to like 6 extra large, you know what I mean? Or like whatever it was. Cause like I had done one a little bit before that. And somebody was like, they were like, dude, all us big guys, we can't get that shirt, you know? Cause it was like went up to 2X and that was it. And I was like, oh, I didn't even really think about that. That's fucked up. You know? So I picked that one, but I don't think that it's not very like the cut isn't good. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's just like a square.
Yeah, and maybe it'll like dial in once it's been washed a few times or something. I don't know.
That's what I need to do. I need to make some merch. You're like the king of merch. You got the best shit, dude. You got koozies. You got stickers. You got T-shirts.
Right.
And you got like do you have mud guards too?
I did for a while with my face on it like this.
I remember that one. I wanted one of those.
That was awesome. I think I might have one of them left. Oh yeah, here, look. I'll put it for you guys that didn't get to see them back in the day.
Those are the best. There it is. Look at that thing. Is that a Richard design sticker?
Yeah, Richard did that. Of course he did, dude. He tried to talk me into it for a while, and I wasn't having it. He was like, dude, let's make some. We'll do this with your face on it like this, and I'm like, nobody wants to see my freaking mug on a sticker on a like. He's like, no, we can make like a mud guard or something. It'd be so funny, and I'm like, nobody wants to be riding bike looking at my big fat face, dude. Like,
no, because it's different. I put it on there.
Yeah,
send it to me.
So they're gone. I think I have one. I think that's the only one right there. So maybe I should make some more. I was thinking about making some more. That design that's on the koozie. Here, let me see. I'll pull it back up here. It's got like a bunch of little like bike parts in the background. And I was thinking about doing a mud guard like that with this like almost exact same. Here, I'll put it up close.
Oh yeah.
So you can see it's like frame and pedals and.
Oh, that's cool. It has like rotors and
yeah. So I was thinking about doing a mud guard like that has that kind of like in the background and then just the biker emblem on it.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be a cool T-shirt too.
Yeah. What really started it was I think I'm gonna do like a different thing on Patreon where like if you join this Patreon like for like an expensive one for like $25 a month, you'll get like a couple of koozies, a hat, like an Arctic tumbler with the biker emblem on it, and like something else. Like there was like a bottle opener or something like that. Like just a handful of stuff. You know what I mean? Where it's like legit, like, hey, dude, you're giving me $25 a month. Here's a fucking boatload of stuff. You know what I mean? And
that's pretty good. That's a deal. I do.
Yeah. So I mean, and at the end of the day, like realistically, like people are doing it to like support the channel. You're not really doing like when you sign up for the $5 for the like sticker pack, like you get a sticker pack. It's not like you get a sticker pack like every 2 months.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's like saying thank you.
Yeah. You know, so but I saw that Single Track Sampler had something like that on his. I was like, man, that's a really good idea. Because I've always wanted to have like another level on there, just because like some people will be like, oh, I wanted to give more, but you only had the $5 one. And I'm like, well, you know, you can like just put your own number in there. Right? But I think just like if people see another tier, then they're like, oh yeah, I could do that. You know what I mean? So, and plus I just like, honestly, dude, I think I like making merch more than I like selling it.
I think you do too. Because you come out with like the craziest shit too.
Yeah, I just like I like being creative. You know what I mean? So it's like, to me, I was like I was explaining the koozie at the beginning. I swear to God, like I just went to Amazon, was going to get some blanks, so I didn't scratch my frame.
Right.
Because I had bought these like little stickers. I forget what company they're from. They look like carbon fiber, but they're like little rectangles, and I could just stick them on the bottom of my my down tube, and then it wouldn't scratch it, right? But like the new Bronson and like that Mega Tower behind it has a piece there now, right? But a lot of bikes don't have that. So when you put your bike on the tailgate, it gets like it'll scratch the paint under there.
Right. It just because all the rubbing, right? Yeah.
Right. You know, and so I was like, my buddy or C-Lock, you know him. So he had the tailgate that he had. It came with like those koozies, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like you can have a cold beer when you're done riding, and it's like keeps your frame. I was like, I should get some. Like I was just gonna get a couple, so that way when we were throwing bikes on my truck, it was like not scratching everybody's frame up, right? And then as soon as I start looking at the blanks, I'm like, man, those are expensive. I mean, I can make some that say biker on it. That'd be really cool, you know? And next thing you know, dude, freaking down the rabbit hole I go.
I need to make t-shirts. That's all. I have stickers now.
Yeah.
A lot of people have those, but I just want like a t-shirt for myself.
Yeah.
And like, what's the best company to do the t-shirts through?
You know, I'm not crazy about Teespring, man.
I've heard that, yeah.
Like, and when I first used them, like back when BKXE like first like made some shirts with them,
right?
I want to say the very first biker shirts I made were on there, and the quality was good, and I was like happy with them. And then I've been using a company called Printful for my website.
Okay.
And so you can like, I don't know if you're using WordPress or not for your website, but it has like a plugin. You can like plug it right in. It's like really simple to set it up. Or like if you have like I don't know, like whatever those other like Shopify kind of, what are those websites that you can build websites on? You know what I'm saying?
Like Workspace or whatever.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, right? So anyways, like the Printful, like the quality is really good. Like the shirt that I'm wearing right now, here, let me move my camera. Like here we go. So it's like the biker emblem here, a little hitting a booter into like a bunch of cups, right? Like you're playing beer pong, except for biker.
I thought you was taking a piss, like jumping.
Yeah, no. So, but anyways, man,
that was cool.
I made this shirt. Like I've worn the hell out of this shirt, dude, and it's still in great shape. You know, and like the ones that like twice now that I've ordered, because I always order the shirts myself first, so I can see them, you know, before I put them on. Quality. And there's been 2 times from Teespring that I've sent my shirt back and been like, dude, this is not like, or called them up to get it reprinted, because I'm like, this is not even where I put the logo. You know what I mean? Just messed up, or like the print quality is like not like I'm not happy about it. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, I'm not asking people to like spend their money on something to support my channel that looks like shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you want decent stuff.
yeah, you know, and I'm probably more of a critic than most people would be. Like, maybe everybody gets the shirt and they would be like, this is great. You know what I mean? But to me, like, it's not like, if that quality's not there, then I'm irritated about it. You know?
Yeah.
So, but you could go to a place like Printful, like I said, or like there's some other ones that I've used in the past too that were pretty good. I want to say it was like Spreadshirt or something like that. There's a couple of them, but the thing is like, for me, is like finding one that does most of the merch that I actually want. Right. So like there would be one where it would be like, oh, I could find this one that has more like an athletic wicking kind of t-shirt on it, right? Because that's what I really want to make for people when they're riding, right?
Like a riding jersey almost.
Right. Yeah. But just know, like a t-shirt, but that like a gym shirt. You know what I mean?
Like
collar
shiny
and
material.
Yeah. You can, but you can sweat in it, and it's not gonna like be like cotton where it just like starts rubbing you or something weird.
Right.
You know, but then they won't have like the hat that I want. You know what I mean? So like Printful is the one that has like most of the things that I want to make. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the one-stop shop's a lot easier.
Yeah. Because I don't have like, stuff all over the place, and I have some stuff on Teespring just because, you know, once you're over 10K on YouTube, you can have the Teespring stuff like right there on the page.
Okay.
So like that's pretty cool. So you can make stickers and things like that, and then that way, you know, if somebody just wants to buy one off, it's like right under the video. You know, so it's not like
easier way to advertise it.
Yeah, it's not like, hey, go over to this other website and then try to get somebody to go to your website first to buy something. Like, people aren't really like, they don't do it. Like, I'll be surprised how many of these guys listening to this thing right now buys a koozie. You know,
I want to buy one. I want a koozie.
Yeah,
that's perfect because you don't use a tailgate pad, do you, on your truck?
I do finally. Like, I used
it before.
No, I used a blanket for like the last 10 years.
It was like a cardboard box and a blanket or something.
Right. Well, and like the only reason I got the tailgate pad is because the lady bought it for me. And like, I'm just lazy that way. You know what I mean? I mean, I never wanted to take it off or put it on. So I was just like, this just looks like too much work to me.
Because what is it? Like a Fox, whatever kind of.
The one that I have is I'm going to screw it up now. Oh, I have the race face one. I wanted, because it has like a big enough of a square in the middle of it that you can remove, so that my camera would work all the time. So like I can,
camera, yeah.
Okay. Right. So like any of the other ones, the lady actually bought me a different one at first, and I'm like a serial gift returner. So
there's no point even buying you anything.
That's exactly. I'm like, why don't you buy the stuff that's on my list of things that I want? Instead of trying to be all original. But anyways, so so I got that one just because like I was like, you know, if I get one, I'm not going to take the pad on and off ever. I want it to just be able to stay on there, but I don't want to like not be able to use my backup camera when I don't have bikes on there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Especially with that thing. That thing's a freaking monster truck, you know? So it's like, you need to like get that thing as close to the car behind you on a regular basis, you know? And I live in town too. So it's not like I'm just parking at Walmart, you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, I don't know.
Trucks, I don't even have I just got a pickup truck like last year. And recently, and that's not bike related, but my brakes failed twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the GMC Sierra has like a recall on it.
Oh no!
And like I'm driving my kids to soccer, practice, and then I jam on the brakes. There's no brakes, and then also I have all these warnings say brake failure, this failure. I'm like, holy shit! So they fixed it. They said it was a software update. Fixed it, got it back. It worked fine for like 4 days, and the same thing happened to me. In like,
so like where?
Parking lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least we weren't like going through an intersection with a red light, right?
Thank God, yeah. Because I mean, if there's anything in front of me, like like you had to stop short, I would have hit that like another car or a person. Like,
so did they work at all, or like you had to like roll to a stop?
They worked like 10. Like, imagine taking your mountain bike brakes and putting grease all over the rotors,
right?
Like heavy grease, and then try to hit your brakes going on like the steepest downhill. That's how it felt.
Right. So like they were doing something.
It was dramatically reduced, and you had to like really lean on it. So like the power assist or whatever on the brake module completely failed. It's all electronic, I guess, though. I didn't know that.
Wow.
So it
That's
failed
crazy.
again. I returned my truck, and now they have it for almost a week now. Like they gave me a loaner, thank God. Like I have like a Arcadia GMC, but like
Yeah.
my truck's gone.
I feel like I wouldn't trust it anymore.
No, that's why I'm
After
scared
twice,
to like get it
like
back.
I feel like I'd want to sell it. Like I'd want to like take it back, guys.
And it's like it's a known issue, but they never sent me an actual like a recall on it, like in the mail or nothing.
Yeah, right.
So that's kind
They're
of
like,
scary. I don't know.
yeah, they'll just wait till enough people die, and then they'll be like, all right, I guess we'll replace them.
I was hoping that they'd say, okay, James, you know what? Come back to the dealership because the 2019 is defective. We're going to get you a 2020 like AT4, like their fancy one. You pick up the color. I'd be like, okay.
Get yourself a lawyer. It might work out that way, man.
And you know what? I probably would because like when I was in the school parking lot, I almost ran over like a little kid, like darting across the street. I'm jamming on the brakes.
Right.
And he's just running across to get his mom, like in another car. And
yeah.
Like, oh shit. And then there's like, there's no brakes. And that's when it failed.
Oh man.
So a little scary.
All of a sudden, I have F-150, and I've had now twice that they've replaced the throttle body because it just dies. So it's like, and so you're like driving, and all of a sudden it goes like you get a big wrench on the screen, and it'll go like 2 miles an hour, and that's it. So like the first time it happened, I took it in, and it was kind of like what you said. They're like, oh, there's a recall. They have a new part. We never told you, but we'll give you the new part. So they gave me a new part, which is like, warranted for like a year. The year goes by, and then like in an extra month, and it died again. So then the guy's like, oh, well, that's weird. We've never seen it after we replaced it with the recall part. And I'm like, well, sure is weird to me too, dude. Like I've been driving for a long time. Let me tell you how many throttle bodies I've had fail. 0. Let me tell you how many I've had with this truck now. 2. And just the other day, it started doing the symptoms that I know it's going to die again.
It's going to die. Oh.
So at this point, I'm like, instead of going back to the dealership and like just like losing my mind, because like at this point, I know what would happen. I'd go in, they'd be like, well, it's not under warranty. You need to pay for it. And then I'd be like, you're high as a kite, dude. Because like 3 of these don't fail on a vehicle without it being your problem. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't even want to get to that point because there's a good chance that I end up in prison. So I'm just going to go buy an aftermarket one. So I've been researching it. It's like $500 though. And it's like, all right, well, I'm just going to do that because otherwise I'm going to go slap somebody, man. Because
it's frustrating because everything's so electronic now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't fix it yourself anymore. Like you can't even work on your own car because you need a whole, computer just so you can tap into it. What's wrong with it?
Yeah. Fortunately, I think this is just it's just a hardware thing. It's not going to be that hard. Like everything I've seen on, dude, you watch YouTube, man. These guys are like, hey, take you an hour. Here's exactly how to do it. And
it takes you an hour though, does it?
Huh?
It always takes me 5 hours. Like that's why I started watching YouTube. It's like how to like do some maintenance on your bike.
Yeah.
The guy does it in 15 minutes. And I'm like 4 hours later, I'm throwing a wrench across her. I'm like, never takes 20 minutes.
Yeah, right. The only thing when I first started watching YouTube, the only thing I watched YouTube was for like fail videos and cat videos, right? Like that was my YouTube experience for like, like the first 8 years. And then somewhere along the line, it was like, oh, my water heater broke. I need to learn how to fix it. And I could like type it in, and then there would be some dude with that same freaking water heater like fixing it, and I'd be like, oh shit, dude, this is pretty cool. And then right around
YouTube, it's crazy how YouTube evolved,
right?
Entertainment, because it never was entertainment, like you're saying. It was all like it was mostly how-tos and cat videos. Yeah,
right. Just like fail videos, you know what I mean? Like watch some guy roll down the hill or cars crashing and shit, Now it's like
when did YouTube start?
I don't even know, dude. Like, I honestly don't even know.
Mid-2000s?
Yeah, probably early 2000s.
Can you imagine if you tapped into the YouTube whole fiasco shenanigans like back in the day where I always wondered about that. Like if I knew now, what I knew now and went back in time and did it all over, like
if I would have started, if I would have actually followed through with the biker stuff whenever I freaking purchased the domain and all that.
Yeah.
Because biker.com was like a whole different idea before I got into it as what it is right now. Right. So, and if I would have done that at the time, I was uploading videos of rides but I was only using YouTube as like my host of the video. So like the whole idea was everything was on my website. It wasn't
and
like
you put the link to YouTube.
Yeah, or it would be embedded into the page or whatever. You know what I mean? So it like I had no idea like what a channel was, how it worked, or any of that. Like I only made one so that I could fucking make these other videos, right?
Yeah.
If I would have just like finished that project, I mean, I would have been like, I could be where like Seth is. You know what I mean? Or because I would have been way ahead of the power curve, you know?
Yeah. You would have been the originator.
But instead I like did what I normally do. Like I get all excited about some project, do like 80% of it, and then it was like, let's talk about it for a few years and just drink beer on the porch.
Yeah.
You know? So
oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully I get back to Sacramento soon and get some rides in, man.
So people that don't know, you're a pilot.
Yes.
Right? So right now the pilot industry is not doing too well.
No.
So
so flying is dramatically reduced. So most airlines, to save money, they still pay us, but they kind of pay us to stay home and not really pick up any overtime. This is the simplest way to explain it.
Yeah.
So before I'd pick up, like, let's say I'm like, man, I want to ride with C-Lock, I want to ride with Rob. I'm going to pick up extra to go over there, like above what I normally, my base pay. So now I just make base pay pretty much, and that's it. I don't pick up anything extra. So I don't fly that much. I don't go anywhere. So
I heard that there a lot of, like, some of the airlines were doing more freight flights instead of like
maybe like the bigger one, like so maybe like the bigger jets can do it. Like the planes I fly really don't carry that much cargo. Like the Airbus and the Embraer, but like maybe Delta, United, they had like 767s, Dreamliners, 787s, like hold a lot of cargo. So they might do it, but like they still, like FedEx and UPS do like 90% of the movement in the U.S. and aircraft at least. And you got Atlas too, like it's called DHL. You remember DHL?
Yeah.
They're not really a company anymore, but
they're not.
The name's still there. The name is still there, but they're like owned by like a bunch of other people. So Atlas Airlines and all these other ones you never heard of own it now. So they do all the freight.
So I mean, originally you were flying all over the U.S., man. You were getting a ride everywhere.
Oh, and I miss it, man. Like that was the best. Like,
what was like your top like 3 places that you like to go on?
Good question. Well, demo that day, we did with Orby, Flow Rider and all them. That was fun.
Yeah.
Like when we did the Bay Area there. So that was like, I'd say that's top 3.
So
Vegas,
so when you did demo Forest or when you did UC?
Demo Forest. So I've never ridden, like, people don't understand, like, you can do flow until you're tired.
Yeah.
Like it's so much flow that your back hurts and like your arms hurt and your legs, because you're sitting there just squatting like.
Yeah.
It lasts forever, and then the climb is a complete pain in the ass, but it's totally worth it.
Right.
But
you can't drive all the way up to the top like we did before anymore. They put a gate in. It's like now you have to climb.
So you can't shuttle.
You could, but you're not going to shuttle the whole way. So it's like
you might as well just ride it.
Yeah, like so now you have to climb in and you have to climb out. So it's like you got to really want it.
That's why, like, it's deceiving riding demo. So if you ever ride demo, guys, and you do the first part of that Fire Road climb, luckily I got the shuttle the first time I did it. You get to the top and then you descend past where you started climbing. So you kind of start almost midway, and like you're saying, then you have to climb out.
Yeah.
After you just did like 30 minutes of like flow and you're smoked, you got to climb out and go back to the parking lot. It's such a pain in the ass.
Well,
so
and we would
usually
usually climb back up again and then do Braille, and then come down and then climb out. And they put a new trail in too that actually poops you out like below where flow comes out.
Oh my
God. So like it's only down the trail another like quarter mile or something like that, but it's still like now you have 3 options. Like before, if you rode both the climb in, the climb out, and both the trails, you're probably close to like 3,500 feet of climbing for the day, which is a big day, dude. You know what I mean? Like even that's a big day, dude.
Yeah, that's a lot of riding.
And now they add that other trail in, so you're like, well, now I have to choose which one. I haven't done the other one yet, though.
Yeah, we'll go together.
Yeah, we'll have to do it, man.
Yeah, I like it.
Definitely. If the COVID goes away, I feel like. I'm going to try to say this without getting political, but I feel like as soon as the election's over, COVID's going to get cured. It's just going to be like, it's going to be gone. So be like
using it almost as like a pawn in their election process.
Yeah, just like,
it's like come on, it's just I feel bad people, getting sick off it, and
yeah,
it's something we have to be concerned about and all that stuff. But it's just like everyone's 2020 is just like in the toilet, and it's just like, man, it's brutal. It's tough for a lot of people. People losing their jobs, people getting sick. It's just man, kids not going to school.
It's crazy. My daughter's a senior this year, and I'm like keeping my fingers crossed for her that she gets to go back to school at least for the last half of the year, because it's like, like you go through school, like being a senior is like a big deal, man.
The biggest,
That's like it seems like the biggest, like it is the biggest, event of your life, and it's like to be doing it from home in bed, like in your pajamas, and not even being able to hang out with your friends. Like, dude, that sucks.
So she's full remote then? Everything's from home?
Yeah, totally. So I mean, at this point, she probably feels like almost like an adult, because it's like she gets up, she does her school online. They are only doing it like until like 1 o'clock. So they go to like online from like 8 to 1, and then she like goes to work. You know what I mean? And comes home, and it's like
she's not even a kid anymore, kind of.
Yeah,
to adulthood.
Yeah, doesn't get to hang out with her friends or do it. It's just crazy.
Yeah, because my kids right now only go to school 2 days a week. They go Monday, Tuesday, like tomorrow and Tuesday, and then they're home Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long that's going to last. It's going to be once one kid's sick in school, they're going to shut it down.
Yeah, right.
So whatever. But back to
I'm glad I don't have young kids where I actually have to be like actively part of teaching them every day, because that would be a lot, man. You know what I mean? Like, oh God, I'm sure you're like teacher now, huh?
No, I don't teach anything. I don't have the patience. I'll be honest. I could teach them mountain biking, but I can't.
Yeah.
It's like I could probably teach your kids.
Yeah.
But I can't teach my own kids, because they know your parent. Like your daughter's probably respects me more than she respects.
Right.
It's sad, but she's comfortable with it. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I leave the wife to deal with that.
Yeah, stuff. She does that.
She's good. She's a hard ass, so she can nail it down. I can hear her walking right above me. Hi, Melissa.
I saw you put her on your last video, like right in the thumbnail. I was like, you clickbait. You use your wife for clickbait.
Her bike check. I got her the Specialized Epic Evo. Super fun bike. It's just lightweight, easy to pedal. She's not doing anything crazy like bike parks all the time. So it's like,
when you said that you guys went into the shop, you guys were looking for a 5010. That's what she was planning on.
I like, because she doesn't care what she really gets. I just wanted to get a new bike. Yeah, just, make it a little more fun for her. So I was looking at the 5010, because the 5010's like you were saying earlier, it's a good do-it-all kind of bike.
Yeah, totally.
But it still pedals really well and all that stuff. And then she rode it, and she's like, it was fine. And that's literally, the bike was against like the cash register, like at the front of the shop, and I was about to buy it. And then she's like, "What's that bike?" It was sitting in the corner just by itself, and it was the Epic Evo, and it's like this light purple, pinkish hue.
Yeah,
it's a really pretty color.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. It's like a flat purple.
Yeah, and then she picked it up. It's like 25 pounds, and that's the base model. It's like just so light.
Right.
So throw that, and I'm like, okay, get that one.
Yeah, nobody put the baby in the corner.
Yeah, that's literally, it was sitting in like under like shit, like there's boxes on top of it, just hiding in the corner, like no one wanted it. But yeah.
Hilarious. So now she's riding a 170 bike, just smashing stuff. When are you guys going to do another video of you guys on the trail just tearing each other up?
I think the new one, the first one, let's see. I can't ride probably until spring minimum. And then that's when she wants to ride with me, because I'll be out of shape.
Oh, yes. That makes her happy.
Smoking my ass, so she's going to be ragging on me. So I think that'll be the first time. Probably spring.
She's good at you, so I'm sure that'll be comical.
Oh, yeah. It'll be funny. She's good shit. She's funny. But back to places I enjoy the most riding when I was flying.
Yeah, right. We were
different destinations. So like we said, Santa Cruz is one of them. I think Vegas is up there in the top 3.
Dude, I really want to go there.
Oh my God. It's like riding on another planet.
Yeah, I would have never, ever, ever, ever thought about riding there until I saw Single Track Sampler's video, and I was like, what? That looks cool.
So I rode those places, like I think Brian and Single Track rode together. Bootleg Canyon.
Yeah.
It looks like nothing. It looks like nothing on camera.
Right.
Of course. But when you get there, you're like, holy shit. But everything rolls really good. I think I told me through it, but it was on like someone else's. It was on a demo bike that was a piece of crap. So like I felt like the thing was just
slapped out.
It wasn't even the bike was a piece of crap. It just wasn't maintained.
Yeah.
So like everything's rattling. I was a little scared to send it on it.
Right.
But oh my God, it's such a good ride. But you have to ride it in wintertime. That's the thing, because it's so damn hot.
Right.
So if you ride there like in February, it's beautiful. It's like it can be 50 degrees, sunny. The dirt's good because sometimes it snows a little bit, like and then it evaporates, but the dirt stays kind of a little wet. Oh,
when it looked like it was like not sandy, but more like rock, like just
it's more like it's jagged rock.
Yeah,
jagged rock. And then it's sandy, but then there's like a clay. There's a clay mixed in with it, so it almost has like that Sedona, red dirt feel.
Right on.
But Sedona's probably up there too. I love Sedona.
Yeah.
And then anything in the PNW.
Anything in the PNW, right?
Their dirt's so good. It's just like their dirt's like next level.
Yeah, every time we get that dirt like a couple of times a year. You know what I mean? Like
when it rains for a little bit and then
here in the spring, like it's amazing because like all of that, our trails are like so packed. So in the spring, it's like it just turns it into like the perfect dirt. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing but grip for days, but it doesn't last much longer than days. You know what I mean?
Because I remember watching a video. It could have been yours, or it could have been. They don't make videos anymore. It's a shame. Trail Peak.
Oh yeah,
because they ride Auburn. They ride Auburn a ton. And
I
remember, like it was one of your videos too, and it's also like in your background of like your YouTube channel. I don't know. If
that's the connector or the Culvert Trail.
Yeah. So Culvert. I'm like, remember when we rode it? I'm like, dude, it looks like the desert.
Yeah.
And then in spring, because it's in spring, right? It looks like that. It's like the trail, the dirt's like nice and black, and there's green, like lush, like
grass all around. Yeah, it's all pretty.
I get there, dude. It looks like the apocalypse, dude. I'm ready for the freaking zombies to come out of the trees and eat me and shit. Like Jesus. It doesn't even look like the same area though. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. It totally changes.
It's crazy. It's like a dust bowl. Oh. And I'm sure right now the air quality is just complete shit, huh? With all the fires.
Yeah, it's been pretty trying over the last few like month or so, but right now it's actually not bad at all. But it was really tough. Like honestly, with everything that was going on with COVID, you know, and being locked up and not going to work and not being able to go to restaurants and like, you know what I mean? You're already kind of feeling like a little like kind of pent up from it, you know? And then I was like being real hardcore on the diet too. So then I was like, you know, kind of like depriving myself of even the little bit of stuff that you like everybody else would be like having to like kind of deal with it, you know? So, and then when when the fires broke out and it was like smoke too, I actually got to a point where I was like, this is really messing with me now. Like at this point where I'm like, this is riding bike was the only thing that I had that was like giving me like happiness and solace, you know? And then to be like trying to figure out where I could drive within 2 hours to go so that I could actually ride my bike because the smoke was so bad, you know?
It's like enough.
Yeah. I'm like, I can't handle this. Like I'm going to lose it. Like, so
it's like, oh my God. That's why I was like hesitant to fix my knee, like, you know, just because it's your therapy too, right? Like it's your therapy. It just puts me in a mood when you probably get this too. You wake up and everything kind of feels impossible.
Yeah.
Like little tasks. Like you're like, oh, I got to make my bed. No, I have to cook breakfast. Just like everyday stuff. You're like, it just seems like it's overwhelming sometimes. But then if I just say, you know what, I'm going to go for a ride.
Yeah.
And come back and everything changes.
Yeah. I always call it single track therapy, you know?
Yeah. You ride, you put in your different state of mind when you get back and you just like, you're happy.
I was talking to somebody about the other day. They were like, no matter how hard you could try, like you start a bike ride out, like pissed off about something, like you never finish it still mad.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Even if you just freaking climb the whole time and like got a flat and like you still finish the ride and you're like, oh, that was better. You know, like
a bad ride is still a good, still a good day.
Yeah.
That's true. It's, it's like, I remember earlier in the spring, when I was starting to get faster because I was riding so much. A lot of like this, like I was just riding by myself because I wasn't sure about this whole COVID thing. I didn't know the severity of it. And everyone was kind of just, all my friends I usually ride with, we're all just staying segregated. We're just playing it smart, because we didn't know. So I'm riding by myself. So what I'm using is Strava, like on my phone, to like keep track of like my PRs, just kind of have a little competition with myself. And I started getting like KOMs, like on seconds. So people are like, and then my phone GPS couldn't keep up.
Oh,
So like you said, they're like, you're cheating.
I was
So you
faster than that.
Yeah, they see the effort, and they like it spiked like in like 50 miles an hour on one part of the section of the trail. So I'm like, who cares? I'm like, really? So all my rides start getting flagged. So I had to actually go out and buy a Garmin, a little head unit, like that. Yeah. So I bought a Garmin, and I did the same thing. I got even more KOMs now, just because I'm riding so much.
Right.
But I'd bring that anger to the trail, like,
yeah,
you call me cheaters, you mother beeper. And then I ride, and I'm like, at the end of the ride, I'm like, who gives a shit?
right,
I just had an awesome ride.
right.
I feel like I'm in shape. I feel healthier, because I did it. And like,
yeah. Which Garmin did you buy?
Riding. Huh?
Which Garmin did you buy?
The AA 530, like the little one.
Oh,
the little one, like the medium sized one.
Yeah. You like it?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah,
all kinds of stuff. Like you get like hang time and like.
Yeah, so like I turned all the noises off, but like when I first got it, I'm like, what the hell is it beeping at me? So every time you went over a jump, it go beep beep beep, and it'll tell you like you look at it and it says great jump, jump. And then you can go back once you upload it to Garmin Connect, you can see like where you jumped, and then the hang time and all that stuff. I think that's kind of cool. It's
I used to have that. I used to have the 520, and I broke the screen, and then I ended up getting the small one now. I think it's like 130.
130, yeah.
Because it's like barely, it barely takes up any room on the cockpit. Like you don't notice it much, and it has like the data that I want to see. Like I want to see how much elevation I've done. I want to see how many calories I burnt. I want to see how long I've been riding, and that's really it. And after the fact, then it uploads to Strava for me automatically. So then I can like talk shit to my buddies about like whatever segment time or you know what I mean? Like, but otherwise, like, I think it's really a good piece of hardware to have. I like it. Even like I have one of the watches and C-Lock gave me that, and I rode with that for a while, and I just didn't like it as much because this sounds like so like first world kind of problem, but like having to move my wrist to look and see the data, like it just bothered me. And then it would irritate me sometimes too, whenever I was riding, because my wrist would be like pushing against the watch. And sometimes I would or I would like actually stop it. Like sometimes it would hit the button enough that it would like stop, and I'd get somewhere else and be like, oh dude, it wasn't running. And then whenever I would ride road bike, like that would be even more like having to move your wrist to like see, like with the road bike, I don't look at cadence, but I would look at my speed. So it's like, oh, I'm trying to stay around, 17 miles an hour or something like that, and so it's real easy just to look down and have that. And honestly, I love it. Plus like you can go back for years, dude. It's like, hey man, I rode at this one place back in 2007 and I can pull the GPX up and we can go ride it again.
Right.
I don't need.
What I bought it for mainly is the 530 one.
Yeah.
I was gonna get the 130 because all I wanted was the tracking. So when I take those bitches KOMs, they can't complain because the data would be accurate.
Right.
They couldn't complain. And then they ride with me and I just blow the doors off. I think it's freaking hilarious. Whatever. I got the 530 because I wanted the map. So like if I go somewhere, I can download like the GPX file. Yeah. Let's say in a PNW, I'm by myself. It gives you turn by turn directions. Like make a left there, make it right there. So
and it does it right there on the screen. That is pretty cool. I usually use another like an app on my phone whenever I'm using the GPX. But I could see how that would be nice to have it just like not have to like because what I'm doing is I get up to an intersection, then I have to like ride through the intersection like 20 yards and then pull it out and see like the map, like, oh yeah, I am in the right spot. So,
I used to use Trailforks, but now you have to pay for it.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy too.
Another freaking thing to pay for. I'm like, oh gosh.
Right. Well, I feel like they could have done a better way of monetizing that.
Yes.
Like either just putting ads on stuff, or like, why not just like charge for the app like one time, like 10 bucks,
20 bucks.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah. And then like get it that way. Cause I feel like, or like make me pay for the like map packs. Like I have to pay for California and I have to pay for Oregon and you know what I mean? But not like, I don't like I don't know. I just don't like the they
just kind of brought it out of nowhere too, with no warning. Like, oh,
yeah,
because I think you can get within like your home location.
Yeah.
You get like for free. Like I'm like, why would I want my home location? I know the freaking trails around here. I want it to want to go to like New Hampshire or Vermont.
Right. That's when I would use it the
trails.
most, like going somewhere new, and it's like, oh, now I know I'm not going to get lost.
Yeah.
But what is it? It's like, what is it, like $1 a month or $2 a month?
Well, I guess it was, if you buy it now, it's a little more expensive. If you bought it when they first rolled it out, you can lock in like a cheaper price, of course.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't get it. I'm like, screw man.
I'm like, I got enough people on YouTube show me where I'm going. Screw you guys.
Yeah.
It's just kind of yeah. It kind of sucks. Like but at the end of the day, like, I do IT, so it's like, dude, I understand, man. Servers aren't cheap. Bandwidth's not cheap. You know what I mean? Like, so like, I get it.
It is a pretty good app. I'll give them that. It works well, and you can upload like, your rides, like you record a ride with it.
Yeah.
And then you upload and name the trail.
Yeah.
I thought that feature was pretty cool because my local trails, a lot of the stuff I ride is not sanctioned.
Yeah.
But then you can put it on there, and then people would find it, and like there'd be like this one guy who created a new trail, he'd literally build it with his shovel and pick. And then he'd upload it and be like, and then it'd be there, and then all of us could ride it. Because it's hard to find. You literally had to hike through the woods to find it.
Right.
So it's like, okay, that was pretty cool, I guess. But
I think it's cool too how they have it like set up where you go and look at the trail, and it has like YouTube videos like tagged with that trail in it too.
Yeah, so you get a preview of it.
Yeah, so you're like if you're out here in NorCal, like any trail in Northern California, freaking Aaron from MTB and Adventures has got a video tagged on that thing, right? It's like,
so how do you tag? You tag yourself in it?
No, all you have to do is put the link to the trail on Trail Forks in your Show More, and they like crawl YouTube for that, and then it just uploads it. So if I put 6 trails in my description, it will only grab the first one. So you always, whichever one you want to be like tagged to your video, just put that as and it has to be anywhere in there. It doesn't matter where it's at in the Show More. It doesn't have to be like.
So does someone like physically go in there and watch it? Or is it just all computer generated?
It's just computer. Yeah, they just from that. Yeah, so I mean, that first one, I meant to do it for a while, and then finally I was, you know how it is with the channel, dude. It's like a million things that you could spend 8 hours on, right?
Right.
And none of them are content. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like a snowball effect.
Yeah. So it was like one of those things that was like on the back of my mind for a long time. I was like, I should go through and do this, and then I did. I spent like all day long, like putting all the links in all my videos, it's like, holy shit, I didn't realize I made 130 videos. You know what I mean? Like,
it's crazy.
Yeah. And then you do it, and then you're like, I went on the website, and it was like the trail, they weren't there. And I was like, oh, you bastards, I'm about to come down to your like office right now, set something on fire. And then I like sent them an email, and they're like, oh, it'll be there like tomorrow. Don't worry about it. And like, sure enough, like a day or two later, it just all popped up.
Popped in there.
You guys got lucky, man, because I would have figured something out. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
So
this stinks. It's nice that I got to do the biker podcast with you, because it's like I'm getting that little point of depression now. It's like I'm not able to ride. I mean, it's only been since I had my knee surgery. God, when I have it Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
This past Thursday. So it's only been Friday, Saturday, and today's Sunday. 3 days, not even.
You're already.
And I'm like, I'm putting like new forks on my bike. People are like, you're not riding for like 6 months, right? I'm like, yeah.
This. So you're getting ready to get knee surgery, and you're like, man, I'm not gonna be able to ride bikes for a while. I'm gonna sell my bikes.
I'm gonna sell all my bikes.
And you sold them, right?
But Rob, with the whole pandemic, if you want to sell something on Pink Bike and get like, usually, you get those freaking hagglers. Like, if you want to sell anything,
right?
On Facebook Marketplace, Pink Bike, you're gonna have the 20 for every 100 people that offer you something. Only one person offers you something that's even like worthy. You're gonna listen to. It's all like the low ball shit.
I sold my Bronson a couple weeks ago, dude, and this guy hit me up. He's like, mind you, it's listed at $3,800.
Okay.
He's like, I'll give you $800 for it. And I was like, sure, with the $3,000 down payment.
Yeah, like $800. Like, come on.
Yeah, like, you're stupid.
Yeah, like it's not like if you said $3,500, you'd be like, okay, maybe
Yeah,
meet in the middle.
even if you lowballed me at $3,000, I can still that's understandable. You know what I mean?
Right.
You could hit me at 28 and I'd still be like, that was a dick move, but I get it. You know what I mean? Like,
you're like $800.
yeah,
Like, come on, yeah. So I get this shit all the time, and we're not riding piece of crap bikes. We're riding top shelf bikes.
Right.
So, but I'm telling you, I went on Pink Bike and I Facebook Marketplace. I listed the bike within the Ripley, I had an Ibis Ripley, the 2021. I love that bike. It went for, I put it on Pink Bike for what it's worth. I didn't really crazy, upcharged anyone. It was gone within a minute. A minute.
A minute?
A minute. I put it on pinkbike.com, listed it. I had probably 20 hits. So a lot of people were frame only, this, that. I'm like, okay, let me see if I can sell the whole bike first. I'll get back to you. And they're like, okay, cool, thanks. Let me know. And then I'm like, I kind of like the parts on the Ripley, and I could put them on a Mega Tower, or when my knee gets better, I could put them on another bike and just buy a frame. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the people were offering me they're reasonable offers. So I was like, but the frame guy who wanted the frame was offering me a decent price. So I listed it for, I think the bike was $5,000 or whatever, but it came with carbon everything,
right?
I9 hubs, top shelf shit. It was a good deal. And then the guy was like, I'll give you $2,400 for the frame only with it, because I had a custom made super deluxe shock and the stock regular one. And I'm like, done.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's like, can you pay for PayPal? I'll pay for shipping. I'm like, perfect. Thing was gone. I sent it out that day.
Right on.
And then I sold my Stump Jumper Evo. A guy from locally just drove to my house, or not my house, but somewhere close. I met him within an hour. I put it on the website.
Yeah, I sold Celox Bronson and my Bronson. I think Celox took about a week. I listed it kind of high at first because I wanted to see where the market was. Because usually, you'll know what the market is by what most of the reasonable offers come in at. You know what I mean? So if you put it up for $5,000 and you get 6 people that are offering you $3,500, you're like, okay, it's right around that. So then so I listed it at 5 because that thing was dialed, dude. I mean,
the green one, right?
Yeah. It was 2 years old, but I mean, he had
everything on it.
Everything that could have been the best thing to have on it. You know what I mean? Factory shock, you know what I mean? Chris King,
carbon reserve wheels.
Yeah. There was not a bad part on that thing. So I listed it at 5, and then after a couple of days, I dropped it down to 4. No, I didn't even drop it to 4. I dropped it to 4,500, and then I ended up selling it for $4,000.
That's not bad.
So I mean,
got a good deal though. That was a good bike.
Yeah, it was within. Yeah, totally, dude. And it was within a week. And when I listed mine, so I was like, mine's a little more clapped out than his. You know what I mean? I went and had everything serviced and all that. But it's definitely didn't have the same parts that he had, and his also a year newer. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's another year of riding on mine.
Yeah.
And so I listed mine at 3,800, thinking, okay, well, I just sold his for 4. So in my mind, I was like, I'll go to $3,000 if I have to. You know what I mean? I'd probably dip a little below that, and I ended up getting 35 for it. And I probably would have got the 38 because there were some people that were working around that price that were going to take some time to get to me. And this other dude offered at 35. I was like, yeah, dude, here it is. And that was 3 days. You know what I mean? I really didn't expect to sell 2 bikes that were, close to $4,000 that quick. Everything before that was $1,500 or less than 1,000. You know what I mean? So I feel there's a lot of people that are willing to pay that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's what my wife's old bike. She had a Trek Fuel EX8, an older one.
Right.
And I listed that for $900. A full suspension. It was a 2014.
Yeah.
It'd be a great kids beginner full suspension mountain bike, or another, a wife getting into a mountain bike, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I listed that on Facebook Marketplace, I didn't even bother listed on Pink Bike because I know it was just going to sell on Facebook.
Right.
People were fighting over it on the comments.
Oh shit.
So I just put on there, whoever shows up at this location is a gas station by my house. This location first with the cash gets the bike. And I went to the thing, I'm watching my phone, and it's just like this.
Oh,
so what happened is a guy who's doing a paint job, a painter, an interior painter.
Yeah.
He wasn't even buying the bike. His buddy lived in Cape Cod, which is 45 minutes away from him. He wanted the bike. but he knew his friend was here in the same town I live in. Had him go to the ATM and meet me at the place and bought the bike.
Oh, right.
And they fought over it so much that I listed it for $900. I sold it for $1,000.
Oh,
He's
wow.
like, I'll give you $1,000 if you just wait for this one guy to get there. So this is crazy. And then I had a cheaper like rock hopper. It was brand new. I only rode it a couple times. And great little entry level hardtail. And that sold within 10 seconds. Literally. Like the guy lived in like a town next to me. He just drove to the gas station. I met him there. And here you go.
This dude at the gas station that works there, he must really think, he's like, what is this guy doing, man? He's down here with like bikes all the time. Shady.
He's packing these bikes with drugs and just
right.
Yeah, you got to have a side hustle. I'm not working as much,
Right.
But I mean, so if anyone gets something from this video tonight, if you want to sell a bike and get into something new, do it now before like COVID's done and people are not riding bikes. Because I think the whole market's going to flood soon.
Oh yeah, you're going to see all these people that bought bikes because they couldn't do anything else.
Right.
Then they're going to be able to go to the gym. They're going to be able to go to the bar. They're going to be able to do whatever the hell they were doing before. And those bikes are going to go up for sale. So you're going to see, like, if you're going to want to be in the used market here, I would think by spring. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like regardless of, I mean, at this point, I feel like, joking aside about what I said about it getting cured after the election, I think that for sure by next spring, like, even if things aren't like back to normal by then, it's still going to be like pretty close. Like, you know what I mean? Where it'll be
like the new norm too. People are going to be more comfortable, like circumventing the disease. Like, so like my gym is open again. I go to the gym. I used to on my leg, but like they only let so many people in. And you have to wear a mask when you all this stuff. But I felt comfortable doing it because there was no one around me. I think with people doing that, they're going to say, well, I don't need this bike anymore. It's just taking room in my garage.
Yeah. Or they're going to be like, dude, I spent $3,000 on this. Like, I'm ready to freaking like get some of that
my money back.
Yeah. So I think that you're going to see, like you said, the market go. And that was part of the reason that I sold my Bronson whenever I did. Like when I rode the V3 Bronson, I mean, you can go back and watch the video. Like I liked it. The suspension was super cush, but it didn't make me feel like I needed to get rid of mine.
Right. Yeah. Cause I remember you saying when you demoed that new one when it first came out, you're like, man, this thing is plush. Like, it doesn't, because I think the old Bronson actually does pedal a little bit better.
I don't think so.
Like not over tech. Like what I'm saying, like let's say you're doing like the Auburn, like that fly road climb in the beginning. You leave both shocks open. I think the old Bronson pedals a little bit better because the VPP on the old Santa Cruz bikes used a lot of the chain tension to make tighten up the back end, if that makes sense. So when you smash the pedals, it makes everything tight. Like there's no pedal bob.
I don't agree with you, dude. Like I understand what you're saying, but I can tell you that selling the V2 and buying the V3. So it's like I rode this trail this week on this bike, and I rode this trail that tree on almost every single climb that I've done on the V3. I've PR'd.
Do you think that's geo or pedal characteristics, like of the bike?
I
Because
feel
geo's a lot of it. Because do you feel like do you feel like more comfortable on the bike, like, or does it feel the same to you?
The bike feels the same, dude, but I feel like it's just climbing. Like it's like
just pedals better. Well, it does have a steeper seat tube angle, so that could do it.
I don't know what it is, dude, but I can tell you like that bullshit climb Clementine that you talk about, like long one, like I went, like I beat it by like a minute, I think, my first time riding the Bronson. And that day I had already rode 20 miles on my road bike in the morning. So I went back up there like a couple days later when I didn't ride road bike in the morning, and I beat that time by like another 2 minutes.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And like almost every climb that I've done since then, like almost every time I'm PRing it. It's like that big of a difference. I don't know. I wish that I you know how I am. I'm not like super in tune with like what's actually going on.
Right.
But I can just see the numbers on my Strava. And if it wasn't for the fact that it was like only a week later, like if it was a month later, I'd be like, oh dude, I'm just in better shape. You know what I mean? Yeah, but it's like literally like, it's like boom. And then there it's happening.
Time.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me when I do the bike reviews, they're like, so how's it pedal? I'm like, it pedals better, or this, whatever, because it doesn't squat as much. There's not, there's not much pedal bobble. You know what I mean by that? When you're pedaling, it kind of just squishes through the travel when the shock's open.
Yeah.
So a lot of it for me personally is the geometry.
And I can tell you on my V2, I almost always was changing that to like climb mode on the rear shock whenever I was climbing. Yeah. And on this one, I have had it fully open the entire time.
Yeah, I don't really touch the lower links. I never touch.
I don't touch anything. I just pedal. And when I first reviewed the two, I felt like my bike, the V2 was more poppy, and I still feel that way. This one is definitely wants to stay on the ground, but you can get it off. Like once you learn like how this bike likes to be thrown around, it can be pretty playful. But it's like natural instinct is like keep the wheels on the ground and just smash it.
Yeah, it's more plush. Travel, even when you ride the Tall Boy, which is a 120 bike, like a short travel 29er. Yeah, it feels bottomless. It's just this lower link has some kind of crazy voodoo going on. I don't know how they do it.
They sprinkle some voodoo on that thing or something, right? But they're
good bikes. They're all good bikes, man. I'd be stoked to ride any of them. I just get the newest ones because I'm crazy and I get a good deal on them. That's the only reason why. Yeah, no, I totally hear you there, dude. Yeah. So back to the you sold all your bikes because you're getting your knee surgery. Yep. Then you go back to the bike shop for what reason? What do you have no bikes, you got bike surgery or knee surgery scheduled for a couple days later. So my wife gets the Epic Evo and I'm riding this, she just probably has it for like a couple weeks now. And then I'm just riding. I have no bike, so I'm riding her bike in the front yard with the kids. This is before surgery. And I'm like, damn, this thing is fun. I want to, because her size is too small for me. I'm like, I want to try like the large size, like my size. So I just go to the shop, totally not to buy a bike, just to dick off. You know what I mean? Just hang out because they're good dudes there. Yeah. I just hang out and hang around. Yeah, I have nothing to do, I'm working, so I'm there hanging out, and then I'm like, you know what? I have all this money in the bank account. Right, because you just sold your other 2 bikes or whatever. How many did you sell? 3. 3 bikes. 3 bikes. So I got a pretty good amount of change in there. Yeah. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm buying this bike. So I'm riding it. I'm riding it in the shop. Right. In the actual shop, and I took it outside and I threw it in my truck, and I literally went back to the cash store. I'm like, here you go. And I swiped my credit card and I left, and I rode that bike that day. And I'm like, this thing is sick. Right. And then I had like a little mini mountain bike trip coming up, so I needed a bike too. So I was gonna borrow one of their bikes. They have a bunch of demo bikes there, but I was like, oh, they're all clapped out. I want my own bike. Right. I just bought it. And in my mind, when I buy a bike, I usually can sell it for what I paid for it. Right. Right. And the person buying the bike is getting a good deal because the bike is like a month old, and I know my bike's like really, really, really well. So when they get the bike, they think it's brand new. They're like, have you even ridden this thing? Because literally, I'll take the power washer and I clean the tires. Yeah, so there's no dirt. There's no nothing on it. Right. It looks good. Yeah, they look good. And so now you bought this bike and you're like, man, I'm super stoked. Why did you go back to the bike shop again? I don't know why not. Because I'm crazy. And then I'm looking at my bike. So I went riding with my buddy on the short travel bike, and I was like, oh, some parts of the trail were getting like pretty rough. That was the one that you just bought, right? I'm like, yeah, Epic Evo is a 110 bike. It's an XC bike. So now you got buyer's remorse on your bike. No, because the bike is really good for my local trails. I see. I see. And then when I'm hitting more bike parky stuff, but it's only a short part of the trail in Vermont I'm riding. Right. And then you know what? I get back home and I'm walking through the shop again, just hanging out with the guys, and then I'm like, man, there's only one Mega Tower in my size. And then the guy in the shop's like, dude, you're not getting a Mega Tower or any kind of Santa Cruz product on the East Coast. It's going to be he's like, I can't even put orders in anymore for 2021. They shut it down. The website's shut down. Right. So I'm like, you know what? I'm buying this damn Mega Tower. I'm just going to sit on it. So there it is. And then, of course, I'm crazy as hell. So one part at a time is getting tricked out. So nothing's stock on it besides the shock. Right. Like cranks are different, chains different, cassettes different, wheels are the carbon ones. then I got purple decals from my sticker dude locally, and I'm like, oh my god. Then the new fork, and that's why. I'm crazy.
You're gonna end up with like 6 bikes by the time you get done with your surgery. You're like,
I am eyeing like this cheap, like I kind of want to do a video series. This is like one of my ideas. Is so the rock hopper I had cost like $900. It's like not the cheapest one. It was like the second from the best rock hopper, but the rock hopper, specialized rock hopper, is like an entry level hardtail for the most part. And I want to buy the cheapest one, which is I think retails for $500 even.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes with like what do you call it? Tourney derailleur. It has no clutch in the derailleur. It has like a 2x8 system. It has like cable actuated disc brakes.
Why do they do?
But the frame is solid, and the actual wheels are pretty good. So I want to do a video saying like, can I, with aftermarket parts, make a better bike? Buy the $500 basement, but can I make a better bike under the $900 budget? Like, make it better than that $900 bike that Specialized sells.
Oh, I
like,
see what you're saying.
Like, go on Amazon and buy like whatever brakes, then buy like a better.
Would it be cheating if you were buying like used stuff on Craigslist?
Or a pink bike? I don't know. See, that's why I want to like kind of.
Yeah, to me, I feel like it would be cool, like if you allow yourself to do that. You know what I mean?
Like I'd give myself a $400 budget.
Because like you can get some really good stuff. Like I built Katie's 5010, and I got a Fox factory fork that was like a takeoff that somebody put something bigger on,
Yeah.
And like the steer wasn't even cut or anything. I paid like $500 for it.
Yeah,
like that's $1,000
fork.
Yeah, it's never been used. Like you could tell, like there's never been. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah. So like that's what, like it'd be a cool video to do that, and I don't have to ride the bike.
Yeah.
I can just feel like, okay, here it is, and then do the process. So like I was watching one video with like Seth Bikeax. He upgraded like some kid's little hardtail.
Yeah.
And my daughter actually has the base rock hopper, the $500 one. I'm like, there's no need to get her anything better, but literally shit's falling apart on it already.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll upgrade that fork that Seth used on that kid's bike because it was a $100 fork on Amazon.
Yeah.
But
well, that's kind of what I was thinking a minute ago when I said that, was like maybe you find like a 3-year-old like Fox, 34 or something like that. Somebody's willing to sell for like $200. You know what I mean? Like you could still get like a pretty like badass fork. Yeah. And show people how like, hey, look, you can buy this $500 bike and actually make it like sick, but on a budget.
$400 budget.
Or whatever the number is that you're shooting for.
Yeah.
Because when I bought my Chameleon, like my plan was like I bought the bottom of the line Chameleon, but that's still like an $1,800 bike.
Yeah, that's not
what I mean? And then I was like turned it into like a $6,000 hardtail. You know what I mean? So like,
because you got the carbon one now, right?
Yeah,
you had the aluminum one, and then you went carbon.
Yeah, I really like it, man. I really like that bike a lot. But I honestly, I'm like, there must be a little JC rubbing off on me or something. I've been thinking about selling it the last couple of days. Probably like the last week or two, I've been thinking about it.
You get freaking top dollar for that nugget right now.
Yeah, I know. The main reason I don't want to get rid of it though is because like it's so much fun, dude. Having a hardtail.
Hardtails are fun.
Yeah, and if I got rid of it, I would buy a super short travel 29er. So like,
fun too. They're all good. There's no bad bikes. It sucks. That's why That's why I go through them so quickly.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to taste the fruit of every single bike.
Yeah. Right. Just give me a little bit. You're like a junkie. We should do another one of these in like a month and see how freaking crazy you are, dude. You're hitting like 10, 12 and everything, dude. You'll be like losing your shit, man.
Well, I'm gonna make a t-shirt now. Like you just said, I'm gonna go JC.
Yeah,
put it in quotation marks. Just buy a shit ton of bikes.
Right.
I'm probably one of the worst on YouTube, I think. Out of all the YouTubers who mountain bike, I'd probably go through the most bikes. I can't think of anyone who goes through more bikes than me.
Nobody else is buying them like you are. Like I would say the only other person that's like riding as many different bikes as you is Yum Yum. Like he's always
yeah. He just demos them. He goes through bikes pretty quick too, but I actually buy them.
Yeah. You
when I do like when I review it, I'd probably ride them for like at least 4 months, instead of like one day.
Yeah.
Let's try to give a more accurate review, but
he
definitely rides lot of
I
bikes.
think that's the legit way to go about it. I was getting into it earlier, like when I was talking about the Bronson, and like I'm surprised now that I've been on my V3 as long as I have that I didn't like it more whenever I first rode it. And I think what I've been saying to my buddies is like I feel like I kind of told myself I didn't like it so that I didn't feel bad about not being able to buy it. You know what I mean? Like, nah, it's not enough to talk me into buying it. But realistically, like I kept thinking about how plush the suspension was, like how good it felt. And then with the like bike market of where it is, I was like, well, if I sell my Bronson right now, I can get myself into a new one for not much more than what I'm going to sell mine to. You know what I mean? So, and I already have another set of wheels for the bike. So what I did was Moonlight wanted to get some reserve wheels. So I was like, I'll find a Bronson that has reserve wheels. He'll buy the reserve wheels off of me. Right. And then realistically, it cost me like $1,500 for that bike.
Right. Which is nothing for a brand new bike.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, you know what? Like, there's no way I can't do it. But honestly, it's been really surprising to me, like how much better it's been. But that's from putting so much time on it. So like what you said a minute ago, I mean, I think that means a lot, that you ride them for a while before you're doing your review videos.
Yeah. So like the Delano Peak, like Pizzari sent me the bike. So I was like, I'm like, when can I get the bike? Because the bike I got was actually not a production bike. It was like one of their, we call it not a test mule, but it was like one of their early production, like a pre-production bike. Like everything was ironed out yet. Yeah. So they're like, go into the review with an open mind because it's not our final product, but it was 99% done. It's just like the cable, how they put the cable routing in it, all the little stuff wasn't like ironed out. So like I actually gave them feedback. I'm like, hey, this little cable thing that fastens the cable inside the frame needs to be adjusted. You put like a foam pad here, and they're totally receptive to it. They're awesome. They're like, oh yeah, thanks for the input. And they actually did it. They made the change on the bike. So like,
wow, that's cool.
I got to ride the bike for like almost 2.5 months before I did the review, before their release date was. So that was pretty cool. And then I got a good understanding of what the bike could really do at like a bike park or, my local trails.
When I interviewed those guys, like I really liked the personality of the company. It seemed like they were like really cool. Like really, really.
And the guy Tyler is super cool to work with. Like he's a super nice guy. Like that's who I think you interviewed on the live stream, right? Yeah. Just like really just laid back guy. He likes to ride. He's got a
it just like there was definitely like a few companies that like when I talked to him and just like you're like, man, these guys are like you want to have beers with them, like you feel like they're really cool. They're not just like trying to sell you their product,
right?
And they like really like care about their product and like you know what I mean, like and they were one of those companies that really came off like real genuine to me, not to say that
they make a decent bike. They're fun bikes. I mean,
and they're just
their customer service is really good. Like, so when I actually bought the first bike, the LaSalle. So like I didn't call them like, hey, I'm a YouTuber. Can I get a discount? I just literally ordered it. Like I just wanted to see how their whole system was. I went on the computer, did the sizing thing. And then I think Tyler just called me up out of blue. He didn't know who I was. And he was just like, hey, you sure you want a large? You might be a medium. And he discussed it with me. Because, like obviously I know what size bike I want, like looking at geometry numbers and stuff. But he just wanted to make sure that I was aware of like what I was buying is usually for like someone your size, like your height, like 6 foot, 6'1". I'm 5'10". I'm on the border of a large and a medium. And he's like, okay, what are you looking for? Like more of a sled bike? So or do you want like a little more nimble bike, which would be like a medium? Yeah. And I'm like, no, I want a large. And then he'd tell me like, okay, if you're gonna do the large, I recommend like a 40 mil stem, like a shorter stem, and then this and that. So that was kind of cool. Like you're not gonna get that from Santa Cruz or Specialized,
Yeah, no, they don't give a shit, dude.
No, I mean you get it from your local shop.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, you'll get it from your local shop though. Like they'll help you out with that. But like you're not gonna get custom parts. Like you have to pay for it or swap it out with your shop. Yeah, like literally, it's cool that you can go. You know what? Hey, I want a 50 mil stem. They'll put the 50 mil stem on your bike. Yeah. Like, hey, I want bars that are 800. Yeah. Okay, 800. Here you go. Instead of like 760s.
Yeah, that's super cool. That
that was pretty cool. Really nice.
Everybody that I've talked to that's had a buying experience with them, it's been good. So
yeah. And then like I rode their budget bike for a while. They sent me that in the mail. I was like, you know what? I want to try one of your cheaper bikes. So I'm riding like the carbon. I mean, that's what I ride 90% is like the high end carbon bikes.
Right.
I rode the Bajo Peak and it blew me away. I was like, how much was this? I think it was like $1,800. Comes with a dropper, like X Fusion suspension. The thing was pretty good. Like if I was getting into mountain biking, I'd be like, this is a really good bike. Like a lot of bikes.
I'll tell you this. I want to, since you've ridden so many more bikes since then, I want to see if you feel the same way. The bike that surprised me the most that I've ever demoed was that Giant Trance. And it was like a bottom of the line freaking Giant Trance. And that bike was so much fun and like so poppy and like for the price, like
can't beat it.
No. Every time that somebody's like getting into like riding and they're like, you know, want to spend much, I'm like, I just recommended the Stance to another friend. It's like the Below the Trance, but it's basically, you know, just the same bike with cheaper parts.
Right.
It's like, dude, like that bike blew me away, man. Like
it's so good. You know what? It's an easy bike to ride.
Yeah.
You know, some of these more modern bikes with like the slack head tube, and you kind of have to be a little more, I think, advanced rider. At least know what you're doing a little bit, because you have to manipulate the bike in the turn. Like we're talking about how, you know, it's hard to turn like these slacker bikes. That bike's just easy. It's like you get on it and you feel instantly comfortable. Everything worked.
Yeah.
It might be cheaper parts on it, and that's what makes it cheaper. Like that brings the whole price down. But like the brakes work perfectly. The shipping was good.
Yeah.
You know, and suspension, you know, is surprising. Like you said, it was poppy and plush at the same time.
Yeah, it was really fun to ride. Like
this is fun. Yeah.
I wanted to rent one of the Evil bikes whenever I rented that bike for the first time.
Yeah.
And like the shop that I was contacting, like they didn't have any in my size. So I don't remember what was going on. Like the Bronson was in the shop for something. And it was like, I just started calling shops and was like, try to find any bike that I could ride.
Because I ride. Yeah.
Yeah. You know? And then the one shop was like, yeah, we have this for like $30. I'm like, $30. I'm like, or $60. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, I'll do this video. You know, totally like coming in like I'm like my shit don't stink. Freaking I ride carbon bikes. You know what I mean? And it was like, dude, this thing is sick. So much fun. So yeah.
It does make you question yourself though. Like, why do I spend all this freaking money on these bikes? Because that's the same thing. I was like, I'm doing the review on this Fazari bike, which is a quarter of the price I usually spend on my personal bike.
Right.
And I'm like, why do I even do this? And when I looked at my Strava, I was probably 1 second off my climb. Yeah, if I rode it like 50 miles in one day, it'd probably make me a little tired because the thing weighed like 35 pounds.
Right.
But at the same time, like it'd make you stronger overall eventually.
Right.
You get used to it. And you always get used to whatever you ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it doesn't bother you after you just get used to it. So yeah, I mean, the bike technology has come so far, like the trickle down from the high end stuff to the low end stuff they're not that separated anymore. It's just weight. Like the shifting is pretty similar.
Yeah. I mean, I think like you definitely get what you pay for in suspension.
Yeah.
Like 100%, dude. And like, I think another place that they cut money is like brakes are always like super shitty on the low end bikes, dude. And I can tell you right now, like that's the one thing every time I get on almost anybody else's bike that I'm instantly like, these brakes blow. You know, like
the chipmunks are back.
Yeah, or just like they just like, I mean, I'm used to riding freaking Saints with 203s. You know what I mean?
That's
like
what you put on the new. Did you retrofit that onto the Bronson? That Bronson?
Yeah. I moved my Saints over. I sold the other. I put the new Avid or whatever SRAM code 4-piston. Yeah. I didn't even ride it once with them on there. Yeah. I took them off and put them on the other bike and sold it with that. And like, on the Chameleon, I have the 4-piston XTs, and they are pretty good. For a long time, I used to say that there's not much of a difference between that and the Saints, but because of like the switching the bikes around and stuff like that, I hadn't been on the Chameleon for like a month, maybe a month and a half, and I rode it the other day for the first time. And like in the first like downhill section, I was instantly like, "Oh no, the Saints are like way better." Like
just like power wise.
Yeah, like I didn't notice it as much when I was like popping between them, like back and forth, you know. And I think it was just like maybe mentally my brain already like knew how much better the braking was and was like figuring that out on the fly or something. But not being on it for so long, like I dropped down into the beginning of this trail and I was hauling balls like I would on my Bronson. I freaking hit the brakes and it was like, whoa, I'm not stopping. You know, like, you know, like it was like another like 10 yards until I got to the speed that I wanted to be at instead of like instantly. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was like,
I mean, everyone says good things about codes. I mean, not codes, the Saints. Like anyone who runs Saints, so like those things are like just badass.
Yeah.
The power they, for downhill and stuff like that. But I mean, the XTs, I rode the XTs are actually on that Fazzari I just rode. But the thing that drove me nuts was the damn freaking brake pads rattling there.
Yeah, I heard some other and I think it was Savant that was talking.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, the XTR one.
That shit, dude. I can't hear it over my heart rate or something. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Like, it drove me freaking insane. I mean, I put like a little foam in between it just to quiet it down. It worked, but like
yeah, you didn't have to.
Shimano, what the hell, dude? Like, you can't make brakes that don't.
Yeah,
maybe the thing that drives me.
Chameleon. I always thought it was the tubing in the inside of the frame. Maybe it is the brakes.
Yeah, it's the pads. So just take foam, you stick it in between like the little, like the little clip that holds them.
It's gonna melt, dude. How does that not melt?
No, you don't put it like on the caliper. So you put it like where like it's in between the caliper, like that little clip, and then the brake pads like this, like
catch
your hair. You put it in between that little clip and the pads. It gets hot, but it's just foam, just like little.
Yeah, your brakes are good as hot as mine.
It works.
Shit, dude. You
the thing that drives me nuts about SRAM brakes is that they squeak. They make that no matter how I mean, I have 203s on this Mega Tower, and their code are like their best brakes, RSCs, and they still make that noise once they heat up. They go.
Yeah, they're horrible. That's the only reason I got rid of them. Like I didn't dislike them because of the braking power. Like I do prefer the faster bite of the Shimanos personally, but that wasn't the reason that I got rid of my SRAM brakes. The reason I got rid of my SRAM brakes was 100% the noise that they make. You can clean them and put new pads on, and you'll get like one ride that they are like dialed, and you're like, oh, I fixed it. I figured it out. Yeah. And then you do your second ride, and it's like, and you're like, oh, bastards.
It's there's one fix to it. If you buy, it's hard to make it work though. If you buy Shimano Ice Tech rotors, I'm not sure you have the Ice Tech with the black inside, the aluminum inserts, and put them on with code calipers. Yeah, because what it is, those stupid centerline rotors are like thinner. They're horrible, and they actually warp really easy. So I've already warped this front one already. It's like a little out of true. So I can bring it back to the shop, and they have that tool that straightens the rotors. But I'm just gonna put Shimano rotors on it.
I went whenever I first had because I had like the Guide Ultimate or Ultimate Guide, whatever they called them, right? I had those, and then I bought the Centerline 2-piece rotors because I was like, oh, this is what's gonna solve it. And then I like changed my pads, and none of that like made this noise go away. And at the point where it was like, try the Ice Tech, because I agree with you. I feel like it's the Ice Tech. They just dissipate heat better. And I think that's what Shimano in general does. Like even on their pads, they have like heat sinks on their pads. I think that's what they're doing. They're just doing a better job of dissipating the heat. Yeah. And so once it was like buy Ice Tech rotors, I was like, screw this, dude. I'm just buying other brakes. I'm like, I know how to fix this problem. Get Shimano. Like. But another one too is, and if you don't want to do the Shimano ones, a lot of guys use the Galfer stuff. They say those Galfer brake pads, even on the SRAM rotors, they're something about the compound that they use just like doesn't get as loud. So
because what it is too, I think, is that these pads heat up so easily, like you're saying, that they boil the hydraulic fluid in the lines. So like after a while, if you're doing like bike park stuff, I mean, if I ride SRAM brakes, they just kind of get mushier and mushier and mushier, and then I bleed them when I get home. With the Shimano, I'm like, they stay rock solid the whole day. They might be grabby, but like, I rather have brakes than not have brakes. So it's like, I
feel like, people that get on them and they're like, oh, they're too grabby. I feel like if you ride the bike for, a week or two, like your brain gets used to it and you don't notice it anymore. You know what I mean?
Your fingers get used to it and you kind of modulate it with your fingers a little bit.
Yeah.
There's still modulation. It's just like, I don't know. I used to consider when they say, oh, I like SRAM because it has better modulation. I'm like, you mean you just don't like brakes because they don't
Right.
work.
You just don't
like that was their excuse to like justify SRAM brakes. I called it modulation. I'm like, no, because you mean the shit doesn't work. I want something that when I hit it, it locks the back tire up.
Right.
I know it's doing its job. But
yeah, I always tell people the best way to know that your brakes are shittier is to buy better ones. You know what I mean? So like as soon as you buy better brakes, you're like, wow, those other ones were crappy. I didn't even realize it. You know, like
and it's like once you get used to a part too, like I'm used to like these codes now, so I actually enjoy them. But it's just like after a long day of like bike park or extended descents, they do get that little chirpy noise, and then the rotors warp a little bit every time. But like they stay pretty much rock solid the whole day though. So.
That's garbage though. As a YouTuber, that was the thing where it's like, dude, I watched my old videos where I had those SRAMs, and it's just like I want to punch people in the face.
Those are your best videos though, because you're like, here comes the freaking chipmunks again. Like,
yeah, right.
You hear like,
oh, it's crazy. Holy crap, dude. I knew that this 2 hours was going to go by quick, man, because you're always a great person to talk to. So it's super fun. Do you I always ask people before they get off, like, what's some of the other YouTube channels that you watch, whether it's like mountain biking or not? Like,
what do I watch? So I watch all, this like all you guys still. I don't watch the bigger ones as much.
Yeah.
Like, what's his name doesn't even come out with videos anymore, I don't think.
Alex,
right?
Yeah.
He looks like he retired at Seth's house. I'll still watch Seth. I don't like watch him religiously. Like I used to watch all his videos because they're like, especially his older ones. I just like his style of editing. But now there's too much production. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
There's like he has like a film crew guy, and I'm like, they don't seem as genuine. You know what I mean? I feel like he's just making it into a business, which is awesome. But like, you're missing that personalization you had with his older ones.
I like his stuff still, man. But I see what
I can like his older ones.
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying.
Honest.
Yeah, I can totally understand what you're saying, dude.
So I watch I actually watch, I guess, Burn. What's it called? Burn something is spinoff.
Burn Peak. No, wait a minute. I'm going to screw this up because I think Burn Peak is now the main channel.
Yeah, so I was watching
Burn Peak Express is the other one where it's like he does RC cars and whatever he feels like that day.
So there's no more Seth Bike Hacks?
Yeah, he got rid of Seth Bike Hacks. So Seth Bike Hacks is now called Burn Peak.
Okay, so that's what I was trying to figure out because I was like, YouTube started peak videos to me, but they're all his old videos.
Yeah. No, he changed.
And that's when I was like, oh shit, it's all the ones when he was in Florida and stuff. I'm like, oh, these are the good ones I like. Yeah. And then I started watching them all over again. I'm like, this motherfucker's got me again. He's getting double YouTube pay. I watch these videos, but they're good. I like those videos, I'm like, yeah. So I watch him still, I guess, technically. What about other mountain bike YouTubers? I watch Savant all the time because Savant videos are just like they're short and sweet. I like his videos,
Like I like the one that he did a couple weeks ago. It was like, will this work? And it was just like he like put it was like 2 minutes of like he changed the derailleur on the cassette or something like that, and it was like he didn't even say yes, it worked. It just showed you. You know what I mean? Like
he's super intelligent though. He knows what works and doesn't work, in film, and then. His voice is so silky smooth that the best thing about James was you didn't know what he looked like for the first like year of his channel.
Yeah.
And then he did like a live stream and everyone's like, holy shit, he's Chinese. Someone said that in like a live stream. I almost died because I'm part Chinese, so I can say that. But I was dying. I didn't know what he looked like either. He never showed his face. And he's like, you just wondered like what voice produced what face produced his voice. And I always pictured like a 6'5", like tall dude, like big and muscular. You
want to know something funny? I had him on the B1KER Bar a couple weeks ago, and beforehand, I'm like trying to make the thumbnail, and I was like, oh, I did a ride with him up in Tahoe. We rode this trail called Toads. I was like, I'll just grab that video, and then I'll get a screenshot out of that. And I totally forgot because on that video. I'm like, oh, you guys are going to see my MTB Savant. And I just panned up to like his nipples and didn't show his face.
I remember that video.
So I even got myself like a year later, 2-3 years later. I was like, damn it. I got to go find a picture.
He's like, he's under the radar. He does it so well though. And then, so I watch it because he doesn't put out videos every day or anything. So it's like, it's easy to watch his videos when they come out like every other week or whatever he does.
Yeah.
But what I had been watching like recently are like food channels.
Oh yeah.
So like they just go out and like in like Asia or wherever, and like it's called like one guy, I think he's in New York now or Seattle, I can't remember, but it's like strictly dumpling. And he just eats like cool Chinese food and Korean food and stuff in like different countries. So like he'll eat it in the US and stuff, but then he'll go to like China and like eat all these crazy dumplings because you know my grandpa's Chinese, so like I see this food, I'm just freaking drooling to eat it, you know, because I've just been stuck at home, not going anywhere. Usually I fly to like New York or Seattle and go to like a cool Chinatown and get my fixins, but now because I've been watching it on TV.
Right on. Now you're gonna be like food and mountain biking on TV.
I could be a foodie. I want to be a foodie.
Yeah, there you go.
I like to eat.
I do too, apparently.
So what have you been watching recently, Rob, real quick? Anything other than mountain bike channels?
I'm trying to think of what has had me. Dude, I get sucked into some weird shit, dude. I'm like, I don't even know how I ended up over here. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I can't, I'm drawing a blank right now because you put me on a spot, you know, but I can tell you, like, there was a while back, I watched this guy go out in the woods and like clear all this brush off this old ass tractor crane, like bulldozer that was like buried in the woods, and like worked on the engine until he got it running and like drove it away. And I was like, why did I just watch that? Like, I don't even know. Like
that sounds like something I would watch though. Like you have one beer, you have to go to bed, and this thing comes on, you're like, and then 2 beers go by, and you're like, oh really?
You know who else I got sucked into recently? Oh man, and this is like obvious, but do you ever see that Mr. Beast guy?
No, what's that?
He's like this young kid, man, and like his channel's like humongous, right? Like, and he does stuff like here's a brand new Tesla. Whoever can keep their hand on it wins it, you know, or like,
like you see his picture like on the trending shit all the time.
Yeah,
right?
all the time.
Like win 42 Porsches or something crazy.
Where he like bought all the cars in this used car lot, and then like anybody that like came up to buy a car, he'd like sell it to him for like $1, you know, and they would just be like, what, you know?
And he's like a kid.
Yeah,
he's like 20 years old or something, right? Yeah,
if he's 25, they're like tops, you know what I mean? Like,
holy shit.
But it's just
he's
like
he's just killing it on YouTube. I guess he's making so much money that.
Yeah, basically, you know, like that's what it really comes down to.
He gets like 100 million views on his videos, right? He gets something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
Yeah, right. It's crazy.
Can you imagine?
You go back and look, like he was doing YouTube like 8-9 years ago. You know what I mean? 10 years ago. He was like freaking 11 years old when he started his channel. You know what I mean? And it's like, and over that time, you know, he's just like plugging away. So, I mean, maybe that's what we just need to do. Another 10 years, man. We'll be freaking giving away Teslas.
There's that website. Is it like Social Blade?
Yeah.
Predicts your growth. So like, in 10 years, I think I'll have like 30,000 subscribers. I was like, I'm like all set. Like, dude, it's taken me 3 years. I think 3 years. So I'm going like 3.5 years right now. I started my channel. I only got like 13,000 or 14 almost. I'm like, but like the first like year and a half, I had no clue, even like barely how to upload a video. So I think it'll grow a little faster now.
You got it, dude, man. You're cooking along, brother. Hey, man, it was super awesome hanging out with you, dude.
Yeah, Rob.
It always is, man. I really had a blast. I gotta figure out where the hell this thing is I'm supposed to click on right before I say goodbye. I'm totally drawing a blank here. There it is. All right.
It only takes a bike to be a biker.
Oh, you're
I always want to say it.
You want to say it? I'll let you go ahead and do it.
But I can do it right now?
Yeah, go for it, man. Close it out.
It only takes a bike to be a biker, so go be one.
You fucked it up, dude. You had one job.
It only takes a bike to be a biker.
So get out and be one.
Go get out, man. Go get it.
We'll put it up here. There it is. It's on the screen. There you go. It only takes a bike to be a biker, guys. So get out and be one.